Sid and Friends in the morning.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. Is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
Sid Rosenberg. There he is, Sid. You want to come up here, Sid? Mark, should I let Sid come up, Mark? I think so. Come on, Sid. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York. Got the #1 radio show in New York, like by far.
Mayor Mamdani has responded to claims from some members of the Jewish community that he's fueling anti-Semitism. Ali Bauman spoke with the mayor and community members.
Jewish New Yorkers rallied on the Upper West Side Sunday against anti-Semitism and hate.
It's important to come here today in order to show that we will not be silent.
Protesters here railed against Mayor Mamdani and a video he released earlier this week in which the mayor conceded that he does not have the authority to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling instead on the federal government to arrest him.
Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City.
That is an insightful video inciting violence.
You, Mamdani, are throwing gasoline on the fire, pitting one community against the other.
I asked the mayor about this. What do you think of Jewish New Yorkers feel you're fueling anti-Semitism?
I would say first and foremost is there's no tolerance for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out anti-Semitism from across the 5 boroughs, and that's because this is a city that is one that has no room for hate or bigotry of any kind. And when we make criticisms of a nation state or policies, we have to remember that those are criticisms of exactly that. Never of a people, never of a faith.
The rally was met with counter-protesters defending the mayor.
They're against Jews because of what the Zionists are doing, and they think that the Jews are responsible. He's doing a job to clarify that it's not Judaism. He's doing the Jews a favor.
The latest NYPD data shows about a 2% increase in anti-Jewish hate crimes citywide so far this year compared to last. The Justice Department says its Civil Rights Division is investigating this double stabbing along with the NYPD. Both victims are expected to survive, and the suspect is being held without bail. On the Upper West Side, Ali Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke about Mayor Mamdani's push for his arrest over the war in Gaza.
The whole thing that the mayor of New York is basing himself on, this criminal, bogus charges, that's what he's using, and look at what he's doing. He's committing hate.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said he is not concerned about arrest warrants issued by the International Criminal Court and intends to come to New York for the UN General Assembly in September. On Tuesday, he has a scheduled meeting with President Trump at the White House.
It is inevitable that President Trump is going to have to do what he doesn't want to do, which is go in there with this massive all-out attack. There's no other way to stop this. There's no other way to win this war. So, again, he's trying to do the best he can. He's a very nice man. I love President Trump. He doesn't want people to die. He really doesn't. Okay, he's a nice man. But there's no other way to end this. Once you start this, Midnight Hammer was great, Epic Fury was great. Once you start this, there needs to be a finish. And the only finish is complete surrender by the Iranians. I hate to say it, but complete annihilation.
Well, we talked last time about this, and by the way, I agree. I love President Trump. I love his heart, I think, is really for peace. And he's always, I love that even now, this past week, he's still talking about peace and wanting to find and leaving that door open for negotiations. You say the only end is annihilation. Now, what if winning this war requires boots on the ground? I asked you that last time. That's not very popular with the American people. What is your response to that?
It's not popular with me either. Look, I'm not a parent of an Army person, right, a Marine person, so I'm very sensitive to that. Trust me. But look, we have the Army, we have the Marines for a reason. They're not there to shake your hand at the airport, Rachel. Okay? They're there for a reason. Last I checked, we don't have a draft in this country. So these courageous men and women know exactly what they're signing up for. This is war. We don't want to see anybody die, but this is war. A war that started 47 years ago that they started. So, yes, I know that the moral ground is to say, I don't want our kids to die. I feel the same way. But we got to win. Now, we can win maybe without putting boots on the ground. Maybe we can. I don't know. I'm not Jack King. I don't have that type of information. If we can do that, great. But if at some point it requires putting some boots on the ground to win this war, that's why they signed up. to fight for this country, to fight for President Trump, and to rid the world of evil animals like the Iranian regime.
What does victory look like to you? Are you serious? You really want just until they're annihilated and there's a regime change? Is that final for you?
That's it. Look, I want to get the dust. I want to open the slate. All that's important. But if you leave these animals in power, you are destined. Look, what is the definition of insanity? Do the same thing over and over and again and expect different results. If you leave the IRGC in power, we're going to have the same issues in 5 years, in 10 years when the great President Trump, is gone. So we have no choice at this point but to go in there. And yes, regime change, I know it's two dirty words. That's part of winning the war ultimately.
Breaking news on Thursday afternoon in Manhattan's Upper West Side. 51-year-old Raul Morales allegedly stabbed a 57-year-old Asian man in the back with a knife near Central Park West. Then minutes later, stabbed a 50-year-old Jewish man wearing a kippah in the chest with a screwdriver outside a synagogue area just blocks away. Both victims survived in stable conditions. The suspect is charged with attempted murder and hate crime. The hate crime is primarily tied to the Jewish victim. And police say witnesses and victims reported he yelled Allahu Akbar during both attacks, yet within hours, the media and high-profile voices went nuclear on Mayor Zohran Mamdani, with radio host Sid Rosenberg exploding on Fox News, calling him a terrorist, a jihadist, and saying the blood is on his hands.
Trying to talk to Mayor Mamdani is like trying to talk to the IRGC, okay? This guy is a terrorist. That's the bottom line. I'll say it. You don't want to say it, I'll say it. He's a terrorist. He's a jihadist. He hates the Jewish people. He hates America. He hates the Italian people. He hates the Irish people. He hates the German people. Unless you're Muslim, Mayor Mamdani has no use for you. He is a horrible person and maybe has perpetrated the worst American and Jewish hate in the history of this country. Those two people stabbed the other day in Airport Side, New York City. That blood is on his hands. That blood is on your hands, Mayor Mamdani. We got to find a way to get this guy out of here. Maybe Dr. Emily Wolf is right. Maybe that election wasn't what it looked like on paper. Maybe he really didn't win. But either way, this guy is the worst thing to happen to New York politics, maybe in the history of our state. He's a lowlife.
I mean, I think you may be a bit over your skis in calling him, labeling him a terrorist, and you're probably going to get flagged for that.
Hold on.
The New Yorkers elected this guy. They knew everything about him before. Like, it's predictable. You talk about predictability. This is a predictable.
Let me ask you this. The Hamas guys that are in Qatar right now, they've never put on an explosive vest. They've never shot anybody. Would you consider those guys terrorists? Because I would. Okay, so his ideologies are in line with the terrorists. Mahmoud Khalil is a campus terrorist. You have to kill somebody to be a terrorist. You have to share the ideology. That's what this guy is. He's no better than the person who actually goes and shoots somebody because he respects that person. He likes that person. That makes him one of them.
Sid Rosenberg just went nuclear on national television against Zohran Mamdani. So where is the lie? I mean, if there is one, I can't find it. I mean, whether you agree with every word or not, this is what happens when a politician spends years pumping out anti-Israel rhetoric and then gets elevated to the highest office in the city. People are simply connecting the dots here between the words and the violence. What I believe is that Mamdani is Islam's Barack Obama. He's got the same harmless look, the slick tongue, and that ridiculous eating grin, and I guarantee that the Muslim community in league with the far-left radicals have much bigger plans in store for him than Mayor of New York. Bookmark this.
Nope. I just don't care anymore, ladies and gentlemen. At 6:15 on your New York City Monday morning, a new week of shows. Sid and Friends in the morning. I don't care anymore. It was pretty obvious. The audio was a little screwed up in the open that Justin put together this morning. We'll replay a lot of that throughout today's show anyway. But if anybody, and millions of you did, caught my Fox appearance on Saturday morning, Fox and Friends, my second one in a month, although that may be it, with Rachel Campos-Duffy and Charles Hurt, like Charlie, and Griff Jenkins. If you watched it, I don't care anymore. I don't care what the mayor said yesterday about anti-Semitism and no hate in this city. I don't care. I don't care who gets angry with me today. I really don't. I don't care if I get the same tweets I got when I decided, I was not forced to, when I decided to apologize months ago. I revoked that apology in Jerusalem. Revoked it. I don't care if Letitia James tweets me or Bill de Blasio or Kathy Hochul or Chuck the Schmuck Schumer or Richie Torres or any of these jackasses. I don't care. I just don't care. I made it very, very clear how I felt on Fox News. And even when Griff Jenkins pushed back, and I don't think he had a choice. I happen to like all three of them, and they loved having me on. They said, nobody brings the fire like you, Sid. And nobody does. You know, I get worldwide acclaim for this radio show. Number one in New York, number one really in this genre in the country. About to go into the Hall of Fame in October, inducted already. But I got to tell you, I get the same exact response when I'm on TV. Forgetting about the fact that with the white linen suit, the blue button-down shirt, the beautiful tan, and the bald head, I'm also the best-looking guy on TV. And you may laugh, oh, yeah, right. I'm telling you, it's the truth. I'm the best on TV. I look the best on TV. And I killed it on Saturday, and they knew it, and Fox knows it. And I don't know what Fox is going to do in the future. I don't know. It's up to them. But Griff Jenkins had no choice. So not once but twice after I left, Griff came back from commercial break and apologized for me. They were very nice, though. They never said my name. Did you know that, guys? They never said my name. They said, we had a guest on last hour. We had a guest on 2 hours ago. Never said my name, but apologized because, look, Fox News gets sued all the time. In fact, right now, Gavin Newsom is suing Fox News. So all these people are concerned about is protecting their asses. That's fine. I don't care anymore. To quote Phil Collins for the 9th time this morning, I just don't care. I'm going to say it again. If you support this mayor, then to me, you're trash. You're trash. I don't know. You know, here's a great text message I got this morning from my friend Russ Sullivan. Happens to be the brother of Mr. Brennan and Carr in Brooklyn, the great Mike Sullivan. Russ served his country proudly, Secret Service. Real brilliant guy, living, again, I keep forgetting if it's Virginia or Maryland, but he sent me this. Take a listen to this, Lou and Noam. You'll like this. He said, Sid, I saw your post on X yesterday implying some manner of reprisal from Mamdani, so I'm writing in response. Before I read his response, what I did tweet yesterday was, remember when Curtis used to come on this show all the time, that moron, and talk about all of his rats in City Hall? I know who they were. And I've got the same ones. I never talk about it, but I got them. And a few told me yesterday that the mayor will, in fact, talk about me today. I don't care either way. Here we go again. I don't care anymore. But I was told he will. Nothing was said on Saturday or Sunday, but supposedly, I don't know this, he was really pissed and he scrambled his team and he'll probably start to cry like he did last time and talk about me and Islamophobia and how horrible I am. Heck, may even make me a domestic terrorist. I don't know. I don't care anymore. See the theme? It's working out well. So I expect the mayor to say something today, but Russ is going to make an argument here why he shouldn't. Why the mayor is better off just shutting up. Here he goes. He would better serve himself to stand down. The walls are starting to close in on him. The problem Mamdani has is one of his own making. He has repeatedly revealed his own cards as to who he really is. He cannot pass the duck test. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, well, it's probably a duck. What is he going to say? He doesn't sympathize with terrorists. He hasn't shown allegiance to enemies of America, namely Hamas. He doesn't take photos with radical Islam clerics implicated in the World Trade Center terror attacks while grinning from ear to ear. He and his lovely wife don't rejoice over the horrible October 7th attacks. He hasn't called for the kidnapping of a Jewish head of state. He hasn't incited violence toward Jews living in anti-Semitic civil unrest in his own city for PM Netanyahu's official visit. He hasn't tried to meet in secret with representatives of the largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. He hasn't insulted the families of those who perished in the 9/11 terrorist attacks by using their opportunity to call America Islamophobic. So what does all this make him? Probably a duck. Noam, your thoughts?
Well, I want to go back in time. So on Saturday morning, right, let's go back to what took place at Fox News.
Well, let me give it to you. I'll give you the whole rundown. I got a text on Friday.
Right.
From Ali Botto, like her. She used to produce Lawrence Jones' show. Now she's doing the weekends, and Nicole. They're both great. And they said, would you like to come in tomorrow at 7:25? I did so well last time with the hosts and the ratings. Remember, they said to me as soon as I left, we got to get you back. Less than a month later, here I am. So I get picked up by the car at 5:45 in the morning. I arrive at Fox News at about 6:30 for a 7:25 hit. I'm sitting there talking to Shanley Painter. You know who she is?
I do not.
Okay. And some other guests in the green room just waiting to go on. And then they called me in there because they were going to commercial break. And before they did, they actually teased me. They go, coming up next, radio host Sid Rosenberg, and you see me smiling, holding up the President Trump thumb, the whole thing, you know. And there it is. As soon as I go to commercial break, I sit on the couch, received very, very warmly by Rachel Campos Duffy, Charles Hurt, and Cliff Jenkins. And then what? No.
Yeah, well, then you said kind of what you normally said here on the radio show. I mean, it's not a whole lot different.
Well, I started with the Iran stuff because Campos Duffy asked me the same question again about boots on the ground. And I gave the same answer. And I'll say it again. I don't want boots on the ground. You know, I was getting attacked viciously, not for the Mamdani stuff. I got 99% support for that, 99%. But you got these psychos like Alex Jones, you know Alex Jones, and Glenn Greenwald. What a bunch of losers. And Joe Kent, who just got fired. And some guy I've never heard of named Kyle Seraphin. And General Michael Flynn going on and on about how I want our kids to die. Well, you heard the audio right there. I made it very, very clear. I'd love to win this without boots on the ground. I even said, I'm not Jack Keane. I don't have all the answers, but you've got to be a moron at this point. Yes, Frank Morano, even you. You got to be a moron at this point not to be able to figure this thing out. Once you start it, you need to finish it. We're not coming home. Joe Kent is like, hey, leave now. Are you stupid? That's not in the cards. That's not going to happen. So there's only one way to do it. And if we can do it without putting boots on the ground, fantastic. I don't want to see one kid die. I even said again, I said the same thing last time, I am sensitive to the parents who send their kids out there. But like Mark Levin said on the show a couple of weeks ago, you don't join the Army or the Marines so that Sid Rosenberg shakes your hand when he sees you at the airport. You join those courageous forces to fight for the country, to fight for the president, to fight for freedoms, and to make sure that animals like Iran don't exist, trying to kill innocent people from America to Israel all over the world. So I made it very clear. You heard it, Noam. I don't want boots on the ground. I'd rather do it without it. But if we're going to win, you win at any cost. And I'm getting murdered all over Twitter. That Sid Rosenberg, who they're calling me the Israel First Advocate, how anti-Semitic is that? The Israel First Advocate wants to see our kids die in Iran. Did I say that, Noam?
I didn't hear you say that.
No. I was very sensitive and said I'd like to win it without doing that. But if you're going to win, you're going to win. What's so wrong with that? So that's how it started.
Yeah.
With the Iran stuff. And then we got to Mamdani. So what's your next question?
Well, I've saw this whole thing a few times, and what I did notice, when you talked about Mamdani, you talked about him again the same way you've talked about him on the show here. You think he's anti-Semitic,
but I use the word terrorist, and people get very upset. I don't care. Let me quote Phil Collins again. My definition of a terrorist is not someone who has to put on a explosives vest or shoot a gun. When you're in line, when you share the same ideology, to me, you're a terrorist. Well, let's say you disagree with that, and you're angry that Sid Rosenberg has redefined the word terrorist. Mind you, most people agree with me. Most people agree with me. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about redefining words, okay? Did Mamdani not recently redefine the word rape?
He did.
Okay. Has he not, time and time again, which is dangerous to the Jews, redefined the word anti-Semitism?
He has.
He has, yeah. In fact, he signed an executive order 10 minutes into becoming mayor where he changed the definition. So don't you dare come at me for calling him a terrorist because you don't believe that's the definition when this son of a bitch changes definitions of serious words like anti-Semitism and rape every day. And he has no problem calling President Trump a fascist and evil. He has no problem calling Bibi Netanyahu a war criminal. What's his evidence for that? The ICC, we don't consider the ICC a real court in this country. So why is he allowed to go out every day and levy all these words and change definitions? But I'm the bad guy because I call him a terrorist? He is a goddamn terrorist. So now what, Noam?
Well, so back to that interview on Fox News. So when you're talking about Mamdani, I was watching the hosts as they respond to you, and they were all sort of looking at somebody like in the direction of the camera. I don't know if you caught this when you watched.
No.
Did you watch it back?
Oh, I watched it back, but I have to be honest. I keep looking at myself.
And almost, and how good you look. But, it was interesting. When you started talking about Mamdani and you used the word terrorist, I saw Rachel Campos sort of shoot a look at whoever was on the side of the cameras. So they were clearly saying something in their ear. Like,
well, I think so.
You got to clean up
something.
this.
I think that's why Griff jumped in there.
Yeah.
He used the old favorite, you're over your skis, which I've never heard before. But I believe you're right. I believe that somebody went in Griff's ear and said, refute.
Yeah.
So then he jumped in, and I didn't really give him the opportunity to, because once he started, I went at him right away.
You jumped all over him.
I jumped all over him. And I spoke to Griff afterwards, and he actually said, I love you. He said, I think you're great. I love you. So I agree that Fox News absolutely jumped in his ear and said, refute, say something. And I also know that it was Fox News who made Griff Jenkins, apologize not once but twice. Griff didn't want to do that. Even if he disagreed, he didn't want to do that. But they made him do it.
What did the apology sound like?
I was in the car, but it was basically, tensions are high when you talk about politics and Mamdani. But we had a guest on last hour who used the word terrorist, and we don't believe that, or something to that extent, that they were apologizing for that word.
And then there was a second time.
He did it twice. Yeah, he did it twice. I mean, when I got home, I shut it off because I was just getting bombarded. I mean, look at this. Do you know that I actually trended on Twitter on Saturday? Number 3 in the world. It actually read, Sid Rosenberg, United States. Now, mind you, not one local media outlet has covered this story. And I was number 3 in the world on Twitter. Number 3. Not one local media has covered this. Not one. Are you telling me the New York Post wasn't aware of what I called Mamdani? Or the New York Daily News? Or the New York Times, who hates me? Or the Wall Street Journal? Where's all those amazing reporters we've got here, like Marsha Kramer and Megan Mackay and Melissa Russo? Where are all these amazing reporters? They paid more attention to that rally yesterday, which I got to give Brooke Goldstein credit, but no one shows up. I mean, they get thousands and thousands and thousands of marchers. The bad guys, we get 300 people. So I don't do these things because I think we look weak, despite our best attempts. I'm not going to kill them. I'll give them credit, whoever did show up, including Bruce Blakeman. But They give that End Jew Hatred rally time on the news, not a word said about me, when millions, literally millions of people have talked about what I did on Saturday over the last 2 days. Trending number 3 in the world, no, not New York City, not the country, in the world.
Yeah, well, I think, when it comes to those reporters, they go for what's easy, right? And what easy was just to drive up to the Upper West Side.
Wait, this isn't easy?
Well, yeah, they have to come find you.
To put on the cover of the New York Post? Here we go again, round 2, Rosenberg and Mamdani?
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you how it works. They have, these guys will cover 1 or 2 stories in a day, and they said just go to the West Side. Boom, the sound bites are right there for them. They don't have to do anything. They just have to cut them, edit them, and put a package together.
And I'm fine with that. Again, look, I give anybody credit who tries to do something, but we get our asses kicked in that. Again, they get thousands and thousands. They basically take over the city. And Instagram makes it look a lot better than it really is. We got a couple of 100 people. That's it.
I don't think it was even that many.
Yeah. And Jessica Tisch doesn't even pay attention to it. They don't even worry about it. Now, they're probably worried about what happens when Bibi comes to town. He's in America today. He's in D.C. with Trump, and tomorrow he's going to Lindsey Graham's funeral. He was on this show talking about Lindsey Graham, but the NYPD doesn't even pay attention to some of these rallies that the Jewish people put on because you get a couple of 100 people at best. That's it. Great, fantastic. It's better than doing nothing. But I'm not doing that. A day after I got, 3, 4, 5 million people, millions, talking about my appearance on Fox. Not one local media outlet said a word about it. They run cover for this mayor unless the mayor wants to address it first. Now, again, I told you earlier in this conversation, I do have friends who said the mayor will address this today. I'm not sure he will. And if you listen to what I just read from Russ Sullivan, it makes sense that he doesn't. Because how is he going to argue that I'm the bad guy? How is he possibly going to do that? He can do it because he's an actor and he'll cry and he'll scream Islamophobia. And I will say this to the people who reached out to me last time. Don't you dare text me this time. Don't you dare. You got me last time. You got me. Okay, I did what you wanted me to do. Don't do it now. I don't care if there are 5,000 people outside these windows on 3rd Avenue holding up signs, get rid of Sid. I don't care. Do not text me again. Don't do it. I mean, they had this, you cut it off, the video was cut off there, but I started that conversation with the 3 of them talking about the quote-unquote Jewish leaders. Did you see that on Friday?
I did.
I mean, how weak are those people? Come on. God bless them again. They're my people. I love them. Good for you. They're so weak. There's nothing tough about them. They're just like, what's a good word to describe them, though?
Schleppy.
They are schleppy.
Feckless.
They are feckless. There's nothing tough about them. Nothing. Our Jewish leaders. Harmless. Says who? Yeah. Let me use those 2 words again. Says who? There is not a meeting in this city, and I love Rabbi Joe Potashnik. He's a wonderful human being. He's a very nice guy. I love him. You use the word Jewish leader in this city, and I'm not there. You got nothing. Because I'm the guy that puts my ass on the line every time. I don't stop where, oh, my God, it may come back and bite me. I mean, the mayor may sue me. He won't sue me because then he'll have to sit down for depositions, and then he'll be in real trouble, But who knows what he'll do. And then again, there's always the possibility that as people listening to me this morning and they're going to go to him, I know you're pissed, Mayor Mamdani, but there's no way you can win this today. There's no way you can win it. You start to count all the things that you've said, like Rush just pointed out. You can't win. What do you think he does, Noam, honestly?
I don't know, because he could use it to change the topic, right? Go after you, and then maybe that takes away some of the heat that he's feeling from the Jewish community, if he's even feeling that heat. I don't know. So there's that. But then the other side of the coin is he gives you free publicity. He probably doesn't want to do that.
So what do you think he does? Gun to your head. You got to make a prediction. Do we just get through the day and that's it?
Yeah, I think that's the route he'll go.
You don't think Mamdani will say anything?
No.
Okay. Lou, what do you think?
I tend to agree with that. I think, I just don't think he's going to do anything. I don't know. But you don't know. You don't know. What you did was
perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect, wasn't it?
It was perfect.
Yes. There was nothing wrong with what I said. Nothing. No. So Netanyahu spoke yesterday. Thank you, gentlemen. He was on Maria Bartiromo's show. And again, he's in America because he's with Trump today and Lindsey Graham's funeral tomorrow. And he was asked about Mamdani fomenting hate, which is basically what I talked about. And here it is, BB Lewis, cut number 7.
The whole thing that the mayor of New York is basing himself on, this criminals, bogus charges, that's what he's using, and look at what he's doing. He's fomenting hate.
He certainly is. So BB told me on this show 2 weeks ago today already, guys, believe it or not, that he's coming to New York and he's not afraid of Mamdani and all that nonsense. He said the same thing to Maria yesterday. He'll be here. This, Lewis, is BB, cut number 8.
I've appeared just about every year, not every year, but almost every year in my prime ministership, unless there are security conditions. But barring that, and I don't expect that to be the case this time, yes, I do intend to come to New York.
Yeah, and the mayor is always talking about, I'm the mayor for all New Yorkers. No, you're not. No, you're not. You've already proven you don't care about the Italians, the Irish, the Germans, the Puerto Ricans, the Jews. You're the mayor for nobody. The Muslims, you're great with those people. Congratulations. Here is Netanyahu, cut number 9, saying the mayor is supposed to be that guy, but he's not, cut 9.
He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other.
And then he makes a statement which is true, which is a lot of Jewish New Yorkers are scared. They're scared. Cut number 10.
I speak to Jewish Americans in New York, and they're afraid right now. And I don't think it's accidental that after he made this hate speech against Israel and against me, the next day, a Jew is stabbed coming out of a synagogue.
I did say on Fox News, the blood is on his hands. I think that was the name of the rally yesterday, too, for End Jew Hatred. I don't know. But I did say that, Noam. You saw that, yes?
Yeah, of course.
And what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an accurate statement. You know, he goes hard against Netanyahu in Israel for days with that really grim 2-minute video. Then he follows it up the next day at a press conference. And then the following day, someone stabbed right outside of a synagogue. Well, what does that tell you? I mean, it's easy to put that all together.
I think so, too. All right, so we'll talk about Mamdani quite a bit today. Obviously, we got an amazing guest list. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on in this city. Noam, what did I miss?
What did you miss otherwise? It's a whole lot. So much of it is violence. Do you want to get into it? There's a lot of crime this weekend.
There is?
Yeah, well.
But isn't crime down dramatically?
Well, there's a horrible...
I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's a horrible story out of the Bronx. I don't know if you saw
is that the 12-year-old kid?
Yeah. This
was terrible.
This 12-year-old, he's the son of a retired NYPD sergeant. He's on his bicycle in the Bronx. This is Saturday afternoon, going to a bodega in Mott Haven to pick up a ball to play with. And nearby, there are a group of men fighting, and one of them pulls out a gun and starts firing at the other men. One of those bullets hits this 12-year-old in the chest and kills him.
Come on.
So thankfully, they caught up quickly with the gunman who shot off those bullets, and he's been arrested. But just horrible.
Terrible story.
And then more horrible. So this is one that's surprising just because it's women involved. On the Belt Parkway, this is Queens. Early yesterday morning, this 2 women in a car get into a fender bender with 2 men in another car. Well, the women get out of the car and they beat the driver to death with a baseball bat.
First thing I thought of, I'm going to be honest, is, and I shouldn't because I should be sensitive to the victim, but I am, God rest his soul. How does a guy let 2 girls beat him up? I know that sounds terrible, but how does that happen? Was he disabled? Was he old?
Don't know. 47 years old.
47's not that old.
Well, by surprise.
Unless they're right. By surprise, they hit him with a baseball bat. I don't know.
I
need more details on this story.
One hit to the head and,
No, it could be over right there. I know. But I need more details. Huh? They walk up to him. They're walking towards him like out of West Side Story with a baseball bat. And he takes a beating? Or?
If one comes up behind
him, right.
You're screwed.
I just want to know that.
And it's nighttime, so they don't necessarily see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I felt badly for the guy. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, what?
Yeah. And so these 2 women...
He died. The guy died?
He did. And the 2 women, they haven't been found yet. They drove off in a Honda Civic. They haven't been seen since.
Wow.
Yeah. And connected to what you've been talking about this morning, a bunch of 9/11 families have started this petition to have Mayor Mamdani banned from the ceremony this year.
Yes, I was contacted, just so you know, by Sherry... I got to get her last name correct. I don't want to screw this up. Sherry Ben-Haron. And she said, please let's vote this POS as far from us as possible. I don't understand any Jew that voted for him. Thank you for your voice. This is Sherry, and she is leading the group to sign this petition supporting the memory of those lost on 9/11 with dignity, which includes not having him there. Now, you guys know this. Again, I'm going to take credit. As soon as we got past July 4th, celebrating 250, what did I start to focus on way before anybody else?
9/11.
That's right. I played a clip every day about 9/11. And what have I said time and time again to guests, to you guys? There's no way this animal could be down there on that sacred soil standing next to Rudy Giuliani or President Trump or any of these beautiful victims. You cannot have this guy there. This guy sat with his good buddy Hassan Piker, who since apologized, but who cares? Sat with his good buddy Hassan Piker on Hassan's podcast when Hassan said, and I quote, America deserved 9/11. And guess how much pushback Mamdani gave him? He wasn't mayor yet, but guess how much pushback Mamdani gave Hassan Piker when Piker said America deserved 9/11. Take a guess, no?
None.
None. Zero. So this guy, again, here we go again, right? The ideology, the terrorist ideology, the Hamas ideology, the America deserved 9/11 ideology. What normal person would just sit there and not go, whoa, 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 Hassan, come on, man, I love you, but that ain't right. Something. He said nothing. There's no way you can have this guy down there. You can't do it. You cannot do it. I'm serious. The only names he probably wants to read that day of the victims' families is Muhammad Atta. That's it. That's a strong statement, too, right there. That'll get me in the news. Muhammad Atta. But that's how I feel. He should not be there. Every New Yorker should sign this petition. The cops can't stand this, Mayor. And you guys know how many cops I speak to. They can't stand him. The union leaders, all of them, hate his guts. The FDNY can't stand him. We lost, about 350 of those guys on that day. First responders can't stand him. So he should not be there. Every New Yorker should sign this petition, and I will make it a point every day as I continue to talk about 9/11 to add to that the mayor should not and cannot be there. He can't be there. Can't. Go ahead, no.
Now, in the case of this petition, which the families are passing around, of course, it'd be very powerful. The more families, the 9/11 families they can get to sign on to this petition. It was Giovante Galante, whose 29-year-old wife, Grace, was killed during the terror attack. He's the one who started this thing, and he's trying to get a whole bunch of families to sign on board. And then you did have the mayor respond to this over the weekend. A spokesman at City Hall said Mamdani still plans to attend the ceremony to stand with the victims, no matter what this petition says.
It's still a couple of months away, so you got to keep trying. It's like 6 or 7 weeks away. We cannot have this person there. He cannot be there. He's not one of us. He's not a New Yorker. He's not even American. He hates his country. He cannot be there. 25 years. What a brutal day that's going to be for those poor families. And even people like me who knew people that died in the building that day, many, who were on the air when those planes hit. Me and Lewis with Imus. We don't want him there. Who the hell wants him there? Seriously, who wants him there? Who thinks it's a good idea besides the sycophants that work in City Hall that work around him, those horrible-looking people? Those mean, dark-looking people that stood around George Washington's table on July 4th and embarrassed his country. Who wants that guy there? Know him who?
Well, probably a fair amount of them don't, but they won't admit that.
Why don't people admit stuff? I don't understand. Why not?
They're scared.
Yeah? Is that what it is?
No, it's just obvious. They're afraid of, pushback or, retribution.
Yeah.
Or just...
I guess.
You said it, man. We don't have enough leaders that are strong. We don't have.
Yeah.
We just don't have. When is the last time you really looked at any New York leaders and said, man,
Rudy.
Right, but you can't go.
Not
back
even
far
Bloomberg.
back.
Bloomberg was a good mayor. He
Yeah.
was good. 2 out of 3 terms.
Well, he showed up at everything.
Yeah,
and
he was good. He was
for
good. But the
everybody.
strong leader was Rudy.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, he
Michael Flynn just tweeted me again, Noam. You can't make this up.
What did he say now?
General Michael Flynn Jr., who did go to prison, you may remember. He says, "Hey, Sid Rosenberg 19. That's my Twitter handle. He directed it to me, so he tagged me. Take a read below. You have no idea what you're talking about, and the language used on these propaganda outlets like Fox News is incredibly dangerous." Mike Flynn, because I said we need to win against Iran, and if it requires a massive attack, if it requires boots on the ground, although I said, go back and listen, I'd rather not do that. I'd rather win without it, but I'm not Jack Keane. I don't have all the answers, but I want to win. And this idiot, Michael Flynn, who, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he get into trouble that he, didn't he give, like, information to the Russians?
What was Flynn's story?
Yeah, the Russians.
I think that's
He was
right.
like a Russian operative or something, this guy. He went to prison, obviously, as part of the whole Trump deal early on. But it turned out he was like a Russian operative. We're going to talk to the Misfit Patriot in the 7 o'clock hour. He's got all that information. And I didn't go after General Michael Flynn. I actually, on one tweet, said I kind of like him. Now I don't, because he's relentless, you know. Him and Alex Jones, what a lowlife he is. That never happened in Sandy Hook, those little kids, or whatever the hell he said. He's a real lowlife. Joe Kent, another loser we just kicked out. They got a nice little group over there, you know, that Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, that group of people. They all agree. Joe Kent and some other guy I never heard of, Kyle Seraphin. And Glenn Greenwald. Is there a bigger loser than Glenn Greenwald and his 2.5 million followers? These are the people that are all over me on Twitter. No, they disagree with me. As if that upsets me. I never felt stronger in my opinions than I do now when those losers come at you. I mean, Mike Flynn, 6:47 on a Monday morning. Does he have something better to do than tweet me?
You would think so, yeah.
You would think, right? Anything else here?
Oh, you want more? I mean, I can keep going.
Nah, it's too depressing.
Well, no, I can give you, no, I guess these other stories are a little depressing too. But they ended up okay. We finally pieced together what happened at this Y camp in New Jersey last week. This young kid celebrates his birthday. He gets a whole bunch of candy as a present, and he brings it to camp to share with the other kids. A short time later, 13 kids get sick, and they can't figure out what's going on. Well, they figure it out later that they had ingested candy that contained hallucinogenic mushrooms. So somehow this kid got a hold of the candy. He didn't know. He was a little kid. He shared it with his 10 and 11-year-old friends at camp. 13 kids ended up getting sick. So now you have the police trying to figure out how this boy got the candy. I imagine if somebody in his family gave it to him, whether it was accidental or on purpose, that person no doubt will be in a bunch of trouble. And then one last one. This was a wild scene up in Orange County. They have the Orange County Fair going on, Orange County, New York this weekend. And they have a circus tent there where there's a family group that does this thing where they shoot arrows into the sky and they shoot arrows at each other. And one of the arrows, while they were doing the stunt that normally goes okay, went through the neck of one of the performers. And this is in front of a packed house of kids and parents.
Yeah.
So the good part of this story is he's fine. They were able to surgically take this arrow out. If it had gone an inch one way or an inch another way, he would have been killed. But it just perfectly went through. But they ushered all these kids out of the circus tent. They took this guy, paramedics rushed in. They took him to the hospital, and there was, thank God, somebody on duty who could pull this arrow out. He says he's fine, and he says he'll be back with the circus in about a week or so, doing the same stunt that he was hit with on Friday.
That's a courageous guy. One more. This is my favorite audio from the weekend. The big sports story this weekend is that LeBron James decided on a team, and he's going to go to the Philadelphia 76ers, who I think now on paper are probably the favorite to win the East. I know my Knicks just won it, and they're the champs. You got to one-seed them. But that is a very good Philadelphia team. Embiid, Maxey, and they acquire legitimate superstar for the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. That is a very, very tough team. So Peter Doocy asked President Trump about James, but he asked him in a different way. He didn't ask him about James to Philadelphia. He asked him to compare and contrast LeBron James to the greatest player of all time, I think James is second. I don't like LeBron, but I'm not one of those guys. If I don't like you, I can't give you credit. He's the second best player ever, okay? So Ducey asked him, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. And Trump's answer was hysterical. Lewis, President Trump, cut number 12.
Today it was announced LeBron James has decided that he wants his next team to be the 76ers. Where do you stand on LeBron versus Michael Jordan as the best ever?
Well, Michael Jordan's a guy that's a friend of mine. Play golf with him. He's a really good guy. And I think LeBron is, maybe he's a racist, but maybe he doesn't like Trump. I don't know. But I only like people that like me. So I would say Michael Jordan all the way.
That's a great answer. He goes, maybe he's a racist. I don't know. I only like people that like me. That's why he loves me, because I love him. Isn't that a great answer?
That is a good answer, but he's right, by the way. Michael Jordan, has 6 championships, LeBron 4. You could just do it on that alone.
No, you can't do it on that alone.
Why not?
Well, how many championships did Patrick Ewing win? He's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
How many
but
Super Bowls did Dan Marino win?
No, but I'm talking about if you're comparing LeBron versus Michael, right?
Yeah. Michael was he won more. LeBron has been doing this for 21 years and is still pretty dominant. Michael didn't do that.
You have to look at, you have to watch them.
You got to watch them.
You have to have seen them play and know what they're capable, what they did,
right.
and who made other players better.
Well, Michael did that.
Yes.
No question.
Yeah.
Guys like Steve Kerr and John Paxson. I'll always love Michael Jordan because above and beyond his physical prowess, which LeBron's got in spades. LeBron's actually a better athlete than Michael. He is a better athlete. But no one wanted to win more than Michael. Nobody had that killer attitude more than Michael. And you can't teach that. I have that in radio. You're born with that. You just want to put your foot on the neck of the competitor. I hate to use a George Floyd deal. But that's Michael. He wanted to kill you. That's not LeBron. LeBron wants to win, and he's won. He's won everywhere. He's won championships in Miami, Cleveland, Los Angeles. I'm not knocking LeBron. But watching those two guys play, nobody wanted to win more than Michael. And Michael won games and series that he probably should not have. And Michael, when he was done with Chicago winning 6 championships, went to a bad basketball team, the Washington Wizards, while LeBron continues to chase another championship. So that does not put LeBron in a very bright light. So for me, it's easy. Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever. But I do have LeBron number 2, and that starts a whole argument. What about Magic Johnson? What about Kobe Bryant? What about Larry Bird? What about the centers, Kareem and Chamberlain and
Eddie Lee Wilkins?
And Eddie Lee Wilkins, of course, one of the greats. I have no desire to do that. We'll take a break. We got a lot of great guests stopping by today.
First time, long time, and I...
That's what I don't miss, Lou. George Santos in the 9 o'clock hour. John Katsimatidis, this one I'm really looking forward to. Harmeet Dillon in the 8 o'clock hour. Zach, the Misfit Patriot, and Nicole Maliotakis in the 7 o'clock hour. And our first guest this morning in the 6 a.m. hour, the king of all Jews, my dear friend Dove Hyken. Toad the Wet Sprocket, Monday morning. Let's go.
WABC Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank traffic desk, we had some earlier problems right around Steinway Street coming inbound on the Grand Central Parkway. Now, as a result of that, you've got a lot of heavy traffic getting through LaGuardia. So as you're coming inbound, you're going to run into that. Now, also in Queens, inbound on the LIE, a lot of slow traffic now coming away from Main Street all the way into Queens Boulevard. Bell Parkway still in pretty good shape, just delays right around the area of the Van Wyck in both directions. Cross Bronx now backed up out of the interchange up to and over the 3rd Avenue Hill. And then on the southbound side of the Bruckner, you're backed up coming down to the drawbridge. Jersey Turnpike northbound at 10. There was an accident there on the outer roadway. They've just about got that completely out of the way. Rest of New Jersey looks to be actually in pretty decent shape this morning. We do have some mass transit problems. Long Island Railroad, Hempstead Branch, Babylon Branch, again, earlier issues with an equipment train. As a result, there are going to be delays there. And on the trains, the Transit Authority, the delay in the F and the J and alternate side again today is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank, now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
77 WABC.
Great song. Dope Hiking's coming up next. What a nice weekend it was, huh? Saturday night, Lou, we went, me, Danielle, our friends, Orrin and Paige, went to Kennedy's in Breezy Point, thanks to Mike Sullivan. What a gorgeous night on the water that was. You like that place, you and MJ? Kennedy's?
Kennedy's is nice, yeah.
Beautiful.
It's in a great spot.
Great spot. We had a beautiful dinner Saturday. And then Friday night, me, Danielle, and Gabriel went to Rocco's, you know that place, on 116. And I found out that day, that Friday, that night, that Vin, you know Vin, there's 2 Vins that own the place. But the Vin that's in the front of the store whenever you come by, him and his wife, she walks around with the iPad and going over all the specials, and they're both great guys, but the Vin who's really in charge, you know.
Right, I think I know.
Yeah, the heavy-set guy, the strong guy.
Yes.
His mother died that day, Friday.
Oh, it's terrible.
He was there that night, and I said to him, I said, I get it. I said, I always bring up the Brett Favre story when Brett Favre lost his dad, and Brett Favre's dad was his best friend, like mine was. And the Packers were playing that night, Monday Night Football, against the Raiders. And everybody told Brett Favre to stay home. And he said, no. He said, if my dad was alive, he would want to see me play. And do you know that Brett Favre had his best regular season game of his career that night? I think he threw for 5 touchdowns. Something outrageous against the Raiders, I believe. And I said, so I get it. You're at work, because he's like, oh, at the house is my wife and my kids and my family. They're all crying.
Well, sometimes you need to be doing something.
Correct.
That helps you.
Correct. So I believe the funeral is tomorrow in our neighborhood for Vin's mom. So we want to send our condolences and our love. It's a great restaurant, but they're even better people. So that was kind of depressing.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
But that does help. I remember when I lost my dad, and it was between sessions of school. I always remember this because so it was while I was on break, and then I told my mother after everything was done, and the funeral, I said, all right, well, I'll just stay home for a while, or I'll take the semester off. And my mother said, no, you're going right back. You're going right back. So, because that's what you need to do, and that's what Dad would have wanted.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you're kidding?" Then I didn't. I wasn't. Fordham was not far away from where we lived in Rockland, so it was kind of the right move. I always, thank.
Yeah, because when you sit there at home all day, Lou, and you just revisit the memories over and over again, it becomes even tougher.
It wasn't helping. It
No.
wouldn't have helped.
No.
My mother said,
No.
"You can still come up here, but you got to go back to school."
You made the right choice.
Yeah, and it did. I'll never forget. It helped me. I mean, it was a turning point, I think.
Yeah, well, good. Thank God. Well,
Yeah.
I hope that's the case with Vin. So,
Yeah, that's good.
Again,
God
that
bless
funeral
him.
is tomorrow. God bless him. Yeah. And tomorrow, I get to speak at Bruce Blakeman's headquarters for my son Gabriel and all the interns that are working for Bruce this summer. I know Bruce spoke yesterday at the End Jew Hatred rally. But tomorrow I'm going out to Long Island, and I'm going to speak. They have speakers every Tuesday and Thursday. I told you about this last week. So tomorrow I speak in front of the kids. So,
good timing.
Yeah, right.
Say, do you remember me?
Yeah. Unless the mayor arrests me today, I don't know. I think you guys are right. I don't think the mayor's going to do anything because he'll look like a moron. How could he possibly come at me for saying something that he deems hateful when he leads the league? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
If somebody asks him about it, if a reporter asks him about it today, he has to respond.
I guess. That's what happened last time.
Yeah.
People thought he set that reporter up.
Sit there in silence?
Katie Honan or somebody, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. I'll be there tomorrow, and I'll be speaking no matter what.
Make sure you bring the right speech with you. Like,
Oh, wait, no, this is my Fox News.
Oh, I'm sorry. This was for the kids. I'm sorry. Let me get that one out.
You know, Heikind is teaming up with Governor David Patterson, I guess. They're going to try to get the DOJ to do something for them when it comes to Mamdani. And, of course, I'm very, very close. Spoke to her yesterday, speak to her quite a bit. And she's on the show this morning to Harmeet Dillon. That's the person they need to get to. Dove or Patterson, any one of them. They want to get to the DOJ. She's in charge of the Civil Rights Department. And as you guys know, last week, Noam, you remember this, more than once on the air, I said that I want Harmeet Dillon to be number 2 to Todd Blanche once he gets confirmed by the Senate. I even went as far as sending President Trump a text telling him how I felt about Harmeet Dillon, which pissed off Michael Flynn Jr. because he doesn't want the president to talk to me because I want to blow up Iran. So. What a moron.
Yeah, leave that part out for tomorrow.
I probably should, leave that part out. But at any rate, so we'll talk to Dove, and he may not know this, but I'm the guy who's got the inside track to the DOJ. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back. We've got 6 great guests stopping by today, and we kick it off with the king of all Jews, Mr. Borough Park, Dove Heikind, on a Monday morning.
I'm surrounded by life. Everywhere I turn, I'm surrounded by imposters. Everywhere I turn, I'm surrounded by identity crisis. Everywhere I turn, I'm the only one to notice. I can't be the only one who's learned. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I can do is sing with me and have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around, who's wondering what I gotta do, or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than
Sometimes entertaining, sometimes serious, always compelling. This is Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Monday morning, it's the 77 WABC clip of the day. What a great show. The Cats Round Table, 8 a.m. every Sunday with my dear buddy John Catsimatidis. You can also listen anytime on the 77 WABC app. Here, John talks to Representative Andy Biggs on the importance of fair elections.
Yeah, they've been cleaning up voter rolls in Maricopa County, which is the biggest, but also in several of the other counties, they've also been cleaning up the voter rolls. And if you clean up the voter rolls, that is the type of thing that will actually get us a cleaner election.
This is
Sid on Sports.
Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan at Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built of boilers. We'll start out in Queens. Tyrone Taylor put the Mets ahead with a 3-run homer in the 6th. Marcus Semien added a 3-run drive in the 7th. And the Mets beat the Dodgers 8-3 to prevent a season sweep. Starter Freddie Peralta allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, 6 hits over 4 innings in what could end up being his final start for New York. Chances are he will be moved within the next 8 days as part of a significant sell-off by the last place Mets before the trade deadline. Up next for him, rookie righty Zach Thornton opposes Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field, scheduled for 7:10. In Philadelphia, Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game set. Still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. Ben Rice homered and doubled for New York. Before the game, the Yankees placed all-star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Also, obviously, still without slugger Aaron Judge. Up next for the Yanks, now 3 games back at Tampa for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will get the start against Noah Schultz, and what will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent accepted baseball's highest honor during the Hall of Fame's annual induction ceremony on the grounds outside of the Clark Sports Center in Cooperstown, New York. Beltran, the 6th player raised in Puerto Rico to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame, drew perhaps the largest contingent of fans over the weekend with the support of both Mets fans and those from back home in PR. He chose to go into the Hall representing our New York Mets, so you got to get down to Cooperstown to see that brand new Carlos Beltran New York Mets bust. That is your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC Traffic and Transit.
From the Apple Bank Traffic Desk, a lot of heavy traffic coming inbound on the Grand Central Parkway as you start to get through the area. LaGuardia Airport just loaded up this morning as you come inbound, getting through there, and then up to about Steinway Street where there was an earlier accident. That has now been cleared up and out of the way. Now, elsewhere, really not all that big of a deal. You do have some delays coming inbound on the Long Island Expressway into Queens Boulevard, and now we have a problem on the outbound side right at 48th Street. So this is going to be on that lower level. The 2 left lanes are going to be out of service, and we'll have to keep an eye on this one. Again, this is on the outbound side of the expressway coming out of that lower level, joining the main line at 48th Street. Now, other than that, we have a lot of heavy traffic westbound on the Cross Bronx out of the interchange up to the 3rd Avenue Hill, and then likewise heading southbound as you begin to travel out onto the Bruckner, but really jammed up this morning coming down to the Drawbridge. And mass transit-wise, again, the Long Island Railroad delays on the Hempstead and Babylon branches, that because of earlier issues, and alternate side of the street parking rules and regulations again today are in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank. With an Apple Bank Pick Your Term CD, you get a guaranteed rate of return that fits your 6 to 12 month timeline. Stop by an Apple Bank branch to open. Member FDIC. $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
WABC. Here we go. There's something happening here.
All we need is common sense. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York.
Something.
I personally like it. I like the haters. I like the lovers.
Happening.
And this is something so near and dear to New Yorkers.
Something.
Are aliens real, or are we the experiment?
Happening.
Hold me accountable for what I do.
Something.
The least predictable show in the country.
Happening.
Talk Radio.
There's something happening here.
Mamdani is like trying to talk to the IRGC, okay? This guy is a terrorist. That's the bottom line. I'll say it. You don't want to say it. I'll say it. He's a terrorist. He's a jihadist. He hates the Jewish people. He hates America. He hates the Italian people. He hates the Irish people. He hates the German people. Unless you're Muslim, Mayor Mamdani has no use for you. He is a horrible person and maybe has perpetrated the worst American and Jewish hate in the history of this country. Those 2 people stabbed the other day in the Upper Side of New York City, that blood is on his hands. That blood is on your hands, Mayor Mamdani. We got to find a way to get this guy out of here. Maybe Dr. Naomi Wolf is right. Maybe that election wasn't what it looked like on paper. Maybe he really didn't win. But either way, this guy is the worst thing to happen to New York politics, maybe in the history of our state. He's a lowlife.
I mean, I think you may be a bit over your skis in labeling him a terrorist, and you're probably going to get flagged for that.
Why? Let me ask you this.
Because New Yorkers elected this guy.
Who cares?
They knew everything about him before. Like, this is predictable. You talked about predictability. This is a predictable.
Griff, let me ask you this. The Hamas guys that are in Qatar right now, they've never put on an explosive vest. They've never shot anybody. Would you consider those guys terrorists? Because I would. Okay, so his ideologies are in line with the terrorists. Mahmoud Khalil is a campus terrorist. You don't have to kill somebody to be a terrorist. You have to share the ideology. That's what this guy is. He's no better than the person who actually goes and shoots somebody because he respects that person. He likes that person. That makes him one of them.
Well, there it is again, my Fox News appearance on Saturday, and I stand by everything I said there. Dov Hikind is the king of all Jews. What a great family. His lovely wife, Shani, his son, Yoni, Dove, he's great. What can I say? And he wants to do something with the DOJ. I'm speaking to Harmeet Dillon right now during the break as Dove gets set to come on. He wants to do something with Governor Patterson. So here he is, my dear friend, Dove Hyken. Dove, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. It's great to be with you. And before I say anything about the Justice Department, God bless you 1,000 times and more, because we have so few people. In fact, I have a hard time counting them on one hand, people who have the courage to speak out, not to be afraid, to call Mamdani exactly what he is. You know, he didn't put the knife into that young Jew, but he's responsible. He is someone who feels closer to Hamas and Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah, on and on. Those are the people. Iran, those are his buddies and friends. So, you know, he wears a suit and tie. He's the mayor of New York, but he is someone who is probably the most dangerous person we've had, not just as mayor of New York, but dangerous for this country, dangerous for the Jewish community. So thank you for doing exactly what you did. And I wish to God that some of the so-called Jewish leaders in this city, I can't figure out who they are exactly. I've got to be honest, Sid. I don't know who they are. But I wish they would wake up from their slumber. You know, the thing they came out with after the stabbing was, we got to get the mayor to tone down a little bit. That was their message.
Yeah.
Well, how much is that? 40%? Tone down 50%, 20%? Come on, stop with the crap. You got to be tough. You got to be strong. You got to be proud. And what we are, you know, the thing that, and look, need your help and your support. You know, I'm always looking, what can we do to make a difference? You know, I can yell and I can scream. I know how to do that, okay? I know how to go into the streets. I know how to get arrested in the streets if I have to. But the bottom line is, this mayor is responsible for the incitement that has resulted in attacks upon Jews and others in New York. And he has to be held accountable. It's very, very simple. Simple question. Has he violated the law, federal law, civil rights violations against the Jewish people, creating fear, creating violence? I believe there is a case, and all we're asking for, and Sid, you're on the team, I'm on your team, we need to get the federal government to examine, you know, the mayor is using his position. He's not just a guy, you know, on the corner, your neighbor, making these remarks, you know, freedom of speech. You know, that's not the issue. The bottom line is the mayor is using his position as mayor to create hate, to create violence. Again, he's not putting the knife in, but he might as well put the knife in. And he is responsible, and as you said, he is guilty, and he's a freaking terrorist. I don't have any problem saying that, okay? He supports the terrorists, therefore he is guilty. Period. End of the story.
Well, I just won. I just won this morning. When Dove Hyken repeats what I said and agrees, I just won. I already warned the people that months ago texted me and said, you need to apologize. Don't you dare text me today. I don't care who he threatens to sue. I don't care who he talks about today. Look, again, I think he says nothing. I really do, because how could he possibly come at me with all the hateful things he has said about so many communities here in New York? So I think he says nothing. But when Dove Hyken comes out and calls him a terrorist too, I feel pretty good about it. And just so you know, you're going to feel better, Dove, I have had many conversations off the air, private conversations on my lounge chair on a Saturday on the beach with Harmeet Dillon, and I can promise you that the Department of Justice in this country is looking into everything Mamdani does and says. She has zero, Harmeet, zero patience for any anti-Semitism. She's gone after Harvard. She's gone after other people. I've done that across the United States. So everything he says and does is under a microscope with the DOJ. That much, Dove Hyken, I can promise you.
Well, Sid, I appreciate that. And I believe this is an approach. He wanted to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel. He should be arrested. You hear me? He should be arrested.
Agreed.
I believe that the federal government takes a close look based on the law that I have looked at with some judges and others over the past couple of days, I believe there is a case of civil rights violations based on his incitement. Is there any question, by the way, does anyone in New York, everyone is telling him to quiet down, the mayor, right? You got to cut it down a little bit. What does that mean? You're basically saying that what he is doing is inciting people. That is a violation. It's causing people out there to go out looking for Jews, not Zionists, Jews.
Let me emphasize that when he said last week when the Prime Minister of Israel, I mean, look, last week, though, we had 5 people die from Legionnaire's disease after people died in his city during the snowstorm when he was mayor. We have people running out of the city being overtaxed, homeless encampments all over the place. Crime is a huge issue. Yes, murders and shootings are down, but everything else is up, everything, including rape. This guy's got a set of balls to spend his days and nights talking about a prime minister that lives 7,000 miles away. And what did he do last week? What did he do? To your point, you used the word incite. You're damn right. He's inciting riots, okay? He calls it a protest. He knows better. We don't do protests in New York City anymore, especially the folks that are anti-Israel. So the mayor is enticing, he's inciting these people to riot in New York City, to your point.
And he needs to be arrested after the Department of Justice investigate. I guarantee you, he has violated the law. Sid, he is obsessed with the Jewish people. He is obsessed with Israel. He is the mayor of hate, the mayor of terrorism, period. That's who he is, okay? Don't be fooled by the tie and the smile and that whole bullshit, okay? He is dangerous for the well-being of America. It's not just about Israel. It's not just about Jews. He hates what this country stands for, and he wants to tear it down. So my approach, let's go into the streets. Let's sit outside, Gracie Mansion. Let's get arrested by the thousands. We need to change our approach, for God's sake. I mean, Sid, we could wake up tomorrow morning with something terrible, horrible happening in New York. I don't even want to talk about the possibilities of people who are out there who are looking for a victim, a Jew to go after. There's no doubt in my mind. This mayor is responsible. He's not the one going out and doing it, but he's the one giving the orders. That's exactly what's going on. And therefore, what you said, your voice, your powerful voice, God bless you. And people who have a problem, Sid shouldn't have gone, blah, 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 bullshit. Wake up, America. Wake up, New York. Wake up, Jews, for God's sake.
God, I love you.
Up or you're dead.
Yes, I love you. I mean, and the conversation when I called them all those words, it's funny you brought it up because they said to me, look at all these Jewish leaders. I go, first of all, there are no Jewish leaders if it doesn't include me and you, Dov Hike, and especially you. You taught me everything I know, but so weak. I mean, they're nice people with their yarmulkes, and like you said, please tone it down. I'm not going there, man. I'm done with it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to call him what he is. He's a lowlife. This tone it down nonsense. This is why Jews, the same Jews that tell their kids, take your kippah off, hide your Mogen David, don't do that. Don't ever do that. They'd rather you do that than see a dead body in the streets of Jerusalem. When you do that, the terrorists are winning. Wear your yarmulke. If you get punched across the face, Dove, it's happened to you many times in your life. So what?
Exactly. Fear, taking off that yarmulke, taking off that Star of David, removing anything that identifies you as a Jew out of fear is a victory for the terrorist, a victory for the anti-Semite. It's not going to work cowering. It's not going to work. Can I tell you, Mayor Mamdani, this monster obsessed with hatred towards the only democracy in the Middle East, the state of Israel, with hatred towards the prime minister of Israel, obsessed with Bibi Netanyahu. Is he the mayor of New York, or what is he? Was he a member of the United Nations, for God's sake? But look, we gotta change our approach, or it's over. I'm telling you, It's over and finished. And anyone who criticizes you, go to hell.
God, you are beautiful, Dov Hikind. I love you. What a great... Mike Sullivan is actually standing up right now, giving you a round of applause. He goes, that's the type of Jew you guys need right there. Dov Hikind, you've been a brave warrior for decades and decades, going back to your days as a political leader in Borough Park, and even now in the 5 towns, all the people that love you and come to see you at shul and listen to you on your podcast and your interviews, and your beautiful wife, Shani, who does a great job, and your son. I can't say enough good things about you, Dov. This was a very powerful appearance. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's called Heart to Heart. My heart to your heart.
God bless you. Dov Hikind right there, folks. Again, on Sid and Friends in the Morning. Literally one of my favorite people in the world today. We'll take a short break. Lots more to do. Misfit Patriot, Nicole Maliotakis, John Katsimatidis, George Santos, and the head of the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ, Harmeet Dillon, all still to come.
But my answer ain't all that use me stuff. I want to spread the news that if it feels it's good getting used, oh, you just keep on using me until you use me up.
Promoting free speech 24/7. This is Talk Radio 77 WABC.
WABC Staten Island law firm of Van Julian Gentili. Chime time 7:30. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Van Julian Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com. 72 cloudy on this Monday, July 27th. Good morning, I'm Noam Layden. Cops have cuffed the gunman, they say, who shot and killed a 12-year-old who was riding his bike in the Bronx over the weekend. Police say 45-year-old William Ferrer opened fire on a group of men he was fighting with. One of those bullets killed Jacob Freitas, who was about to walk into a Mott Haven bodega to buy a ball.
They just riding their bikes, minding their business. It's really heartbreaking.
The tragedy, he was an innocent little kid. He's not from the street.
Those are some neighbors. Ferrer facing several charges, including murder. Freitas, his father, is a retired NYPD sergeant who worked in the Bronx. NYPD cops searching for 2 women who beat a man to death with a baseball bat during a road rage incident on the Belt Parkway in Queens early Sunday. Police say the vicious attack came after a fender bender. Neighbors near the deadly scene say they're not surprised.
If you look at Citizen app, you have a lot of incidents in the area every night.
All the time, doesn't matter, morning, evening, early morning, all the time. The traffic is like this.
Killed was a 47-year-old. The wanted women they took off in a Honda Civic have not been seen since. Several 9/11 families have started a petition to have Mayor Mamdani banned from the ceremony this year. They accuse him of supporting groups critical of America. That's taking place as Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is accusing Mamdani of fomenting hate with his threats to have the Israeli leader arrested when he comes here for the UN General Assembly in September.
He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other. And I don't think it's accidental that after he made this hate speech against Israel and against me, the next day, a Jew is stabbed coming out of a synagogue.
Netanyahu meets with the president at the White House tomorrow.
He's going to go to the Lindsey Graham funeral Wednesday, but I want the people listening out there to know that I am about to sign this petition this morning, but I want to take a much bigger role in making sure that Mayor Mamdani is nowhere near. I'll do whatever I have to do, clearly. I want to make sure that Mayor Mamdani is nowhere near that sacred site where we lost almost 3,000 beautiful New Yorkers on that morning, commemorating 25 years. I can't think of a person I would want there less, being honest. So whatever needs to be done, whoever out there is listening, whatever I can do, I will do it. That man should be nowhere near that site, not on 9/11/2026, quite frankly, ever.
And it seemed innocent enough when a young kid showed up at Y Camp in East Orange, New Jersey, with his birthday candy in hand to share at the end of last week. Well, a short time later, 13 campers became ill after ingesting the candy that we now found out contained hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Actually received a phone call from my son. He was crying hysterically. I didn't know what was going on. Then the EMT got on the phone, and they pretty much told me that my son has eaten a piece of candy that was infused with mushrooms.
East Orange police now trying to figure out who gave that child the bag of lace candy. Sun and clouds this morning. Could see some pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon. Going to be humid all day. High 83, 7:33 now. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Sports sponsored by Pete Morgan of Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal on you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Out in Queenstown and Teller, put the Mets ahead. 3-run homer in the 6th. Marked a Semien out of a 3-run drive in the 7th. And New York beat the LA Dodgers 8-3 to prevent a season sweep. Starter Freddie Peralta allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, and 6 hits over 4 innings in what could end up being his final start for New York. Chances are he will be dealt with in the next 8 days as part of a significant sell-off by the last place Mets. Up next for him, rookie righty Zach Thornton opposes Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. In Philadelphia, the Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game set, still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. Before the game, the Yankees placed all-star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Big loss there. Up next for him, now 3 games back at Tampa Bay for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will get the start against Noah Schultz in what will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent accepted baseball's highest honor during the Hall of Fame's annual induction ceremony on the grounds outside of the Clark Sports Center in Cooperstown, New York. Beltran goes in as a New York Met. And the New York Giants and Jets officially opening training camp tomorrow. That's your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan of Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
7:35, traffic, transit now. Here's Joe Nolan.
Well, from the Apple Bank traffic desk, Noam, we've got delays on big ones on the New Jersey Turnpike now starting to build. Getting up to Interchange 12, there's an overturned tractor-trailer there. The left lane going to be out of service as you head northbound on the Turnpike, and it sounds like this might be a big deal, so as you head northbound, you're going to run into that. Both ways on Route 202 at First Avenue and Raritan, all lanes are going to be closed there. That because of an accident, and we're checking on that too. Now, on the Long Island Expressway, on the outbound side of 48th Street, there's an accident. The 2 left lanes are going to be out of service on that lower level, and you're all jammed up heading outbound on the LIE, and then on the inbound side, the usual stuff from the Van Wyck right on in through Queens Boulevard. Now, if you're on the Long Island Railroad, there are delays on the Hempstead branch this morning, and also you got a pedestrian accident on the J service, so there's no J between Jamaica Center and 111th Street, and alternate side of the street. Parking rules and regulations again today are in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank, now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open, new money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, homeowners, when is the last time you checked your home title? Scammers are everywhere, and they're targeting your equity. With just a single forged document, they can file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Monday, I'm thinking about advice I recently gave to President Trump. Now, I've known the man for 35 years. He's 80 years old. Puts him in his early 40s when I met him in New York City. I've noticed that his posture is changing a bit. That's normal. As you get older, every malady in the world will visit you. I won't even bore you with the stuff I got to deal with. My advice to President Trump is to take the next month, August, off as much as he can. Get into an environment that he likes. Nice golf somewhere, and relax a little bit. Of course, he has to deal with Iran, Everybody understands that, but he can do that by phone conferences and technology. President Trump needs a breather. Now, we should all want the best for every president, not just Donald Trump, but Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bush the Younger, Bill Clinton, every one of them. As I chronicle in my book, Confronting the Presidents, the job takes an enormous toll on a person's health, no matter what your age. Historical examples include Abraham Lincoln, Woodrow Wilson, and FDR. Why don't you compare a picture of when President Lincoln took office and then look at another picture 4 years later? It's astounding. I hope President Trump gets some downtime. Back in a moment. Most people already know what medications they take. You don't need another waiting room. You just need an easier way to get them. So please check out All Family Pharmacy. More than 400 prescription medications online. Fill out a quick form. Licensed doctors review it, and you get the meds shipped right to your door. Let them know I sent you. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 for 10% off. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
You're my best friend.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
From my friends.
77 WABC.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Nancy Mace said that. Pissed off Mike Lawler. Boy, this General Michael Flynn is a nut job, huh? He's incessantly tweeting me since 6:35 this morning. I don't care. I don't care what he thinks, or now he's tweeting me. If you don't believe me, take a look at this same tweet, and it's a tweet from Joe Kent. Didn't we just fire Joe Kent, Noam?
Yes.
I mean, look at these group of people that are all over me on Twitter. General Michael Flynn, Joe Kent, Glenn Greenwald, Kyle Seraphin, and the best of all, the sickest of all, a real sick bastard, Alex Jones. They're coming after me and lying. Alex Jones says, they love saying this, he's anti-Semites, all anti-Semites, every one of them. How do I know that? They call me Israel First advocate. I'm not. I'm America first, but I love Israel. I'm Israel second. And that's the way most Americans are. Don't be fooled by the noise coming from the left and some of these psychos on the right. Most Americans know the deal. Israel's great. Bibi's great. They're our friends. But these idiots, these assholes are loud. So they think that they're, America's waking up. They're not waking up. Dummies. Israel First advocate, Sid Rosenberg, wants to put massive troops on the ground. I never said that. I said I'd love to win this war without putting any troops on the ground. But I'm not Jack Keane. I don't know if we can do that. If we can, great. If we can't, we got to do what we got to do to win. Is that not what I said? No.
That's pretty much exactly what
Right. Did I ever say anything enthusiastically about troops on the ground? Or
not enthusiastically, not at all.
No, right. But that didn't stop Alex Jones from saying Rosenberg wants to put massive ground troops out there and annihilate Iran. They don't even tell the truth. None of them do. Not Tucker, not Candace. They're all lying lowlives. All of them. So we'll talk to my friend Zach, the Misfit Patriot, coming up next. And then eventually we'll get to Nicole Maliotakis and John Katsimatidis, Harmeet Dillon, and George Santos. All that coming up. The Misfit Patriot, he's next.
Didn't
York's talk station, 77 WABC. WABC, Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank Traffic Desk, good morning, everybody. And again, we're looking at a pretty decent day as you travel out there. However, there are a couple of pretty big problems. First of all, outbound Long Island Expressway at 48th Street, there is an accident. The two left lanes are going to be out of service as you come on up to that. And again, it's on the outbound side, but inbound you have delays from the Van Wyck all the way on in again to Queens Boulevard. Now, we are going to be looking at the other major issue. This one's in New Jersey, though. Northbound on the Jersey Turnpike approaching interchange 12 on the outer roadway. There is an overturned tractor trailer, the left lane going to be out of service getting through there. Long Island Railroad delays on the Hempstead branch this morning. Also, no J service, Jamaica Center to 111th Street. That because of a pedestrian accident. And alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank. With an Apple Bank Pick Your Term CD, get a guaranteed rate of return that fits your 6 to 12-month timeline. Stop by an Apple Bank branch to open. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with Traffic. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Let's hear it for WABC.
This is what we do. Providing entertaining and informative talk. Reporting accurate, breaking, and reliable news.
All his music to play. WABC.
Dancing every weekend with Cousin Brucey. And the best music, the best talk, the best news, the best music. This is what we do.
77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
How many of us have them?
77 WABC.
I remember when you were down and you needed a helping hand. I can defeat you, but now that I need you, you won't give me a second.
Shout out to my guy Stuart Samuels out there in New York City today. Mr. Diamond, he's the great Stuart Samuel, huge fan of the show and love what I said on Fox. Let me spend 10 minutes with my friend Zach, better known as the Misfit Patriots. Got a big-time show on LFA TV. He's the host of the Daily Breakdown. Comes your way 9 a.m. Eastern on Live from America at rumble.com. And me and Siggy love him, and we get him on here quite a bit because he's smart. Misfit Patriots somewhere in San Antonio, Texas. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Sig. Great to talk to you again.
It just occurred to me that when my Knickerbockers were kicking your Spurs' ass, I never heard from you.
Yeah, well, good thing for me. I was actually born and raised in Boston, so I didn't care.
Oh, good.
Good.
Right, you live in Santa. Are you a Wembanyama fan? I'm just curious.
No, I'm not even a basketball fan really at all. I started giving up on sports when they started getting political. I'll watch a football game every once in a while, though.
That's about it, right?
Yeah.
I thought LeBron James...
It's just like acting. I wish they would just shut up and do their job.
Right.
It's like,
no, I agree.
Play the game.
Yeah, I
do
agree.
the movie.
I thought what Trump said about LeBron this weekend was hilarious. So I'm going to play this quickly, Lou, and then we'll get to Misfit on the important stuff, talking about sports and athletes. And this is President Trump, cut number 12. Pete Ducey, LeBron signs with the 76ers a 2-year, $8 million deal. But Ducey went right to Michael versus LeBron. Listening to this hilarious answer from President Trump.
Today, it was announced LeBron James has decided that he wants his next team to be the 76ers. Where do you stand on LeBron versus Michael Jordan as the best ever?
Well, Michael Jordan's a guy that's a friend of mine. Play golf with him. He's a really good guy. And I think LeBron is, maybe he's a racist, but maybe he doesn't like Trump. I don't know.
Yeah.
I only like people that like me.
I like that.
So I would say Michael Jordan all the way.
Two things hilarious here. I only like people that like me, so I'm good. But secondly, he goes, I don't know, maybe he's a racist. Is that not funny, Misfit?
Yeah, it's Trump's actual weakness is that one thing that everybody knows. It's like all you have to do is compliment him, and he'll just give you whatever you want.
Yeah, I know that's true. I've done that basically for the last 9 years, and him and I are great. I've got Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn General Michael Flynn, who went to prison, and there's all kinds of rumors, okay, about him being a Russian operative. He attacked me for my Fox News appearance on Saturday. It was really two things to attack, Iran and Mamdani. But him, and I mentioned these names just moments ago, Alex Jones, another psycho, and Glenn Greenwald, another loser, and Joe Kent, another loser. All these guys attacked me because I said that eventually the only way you win in this conflict against Iran is to completely wipe out the IRGC, complete annihilation. I still feel that way. I can't stand it every time Trump stops, which he's done again. He's done it again. And I said that on television on Saturday, and I have a feeling that Trump doesn't like it. But Michael Flynn actually sends Trump on Twitter a tweet on Saturday, Misfit, where he says, I know you like this guy Sid, but he's dangerous. Please don't listen to him. As if President Trump takes his policy advice from me. What a moron. But on a bigger note, what are your thoughts on all these guys attacking me on what I said about the Iran war?
Well, I think it's really rich of Flynn to be accusing anybody of, working on behalf of any foreign interest, right? Because he's an actual foreign agent. This isn't like, I'm not just saying that hyperbolically. He's registered on FARA for working with the Republic of Srpska, and that's Dodik, who is one of Putin's most vocal allies. Michael Flynn is getting paid $100,000 a month to work as a foreign agent on behalf of a Putin ally, yet it's dangerous for you to come out and say, hey, the same strategy we used to end World War II, which is complete annihilation for total surrender, is hey, who's one of our greatest allies right now? Japan. You know why? We bombed them. I mean, it's not a crazy thing to say that the best way to stop this war with an ideological death cult is to annihilate them until they surrender. That's what you said. There's nothing wrong with what you said.
Thank you. That is what I said. Of course, they twisted it. They said that I want Americans to die. I want boots on the ground in massive numbers. I didn't say that. In fact, I said I'd love to win this without it. I'm not Jack Keane. Let's get to Mamdani. You're in San Antonio, Texas, Misfit Patriot, but you're all over this guy. You heard what I said about him on Saturday. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it was very tame, you just calling him a terrorist, right? Because I think that we can take it a step further, right? Mamdani is the living, breathing, walking embodiment of the Red-Green Alliance. If you guys don't remember how the Ayatollah came into power, they would the radical Islamists would use useful idiot socialists because Iran was becoming more and more progressive when they started putting in colleges. And then those socialists are the first ones that were, wiped out, as just like every other time authoritarians come in, the useful idiots. So he's been really successful at pushing this democratic socialism, but it's not democratic socialism. It is Islamo-Marxism, and people need to understand that. It is just socialism wrapped up in this promise of free stuff. But what happens when you run out of other people's money? That's what's going to happen. And a socialist would probably take it a little bit slower, but Mamdani, he just called for the arrest of a world leader based on a fake criminal court. I mean, it might as well be the Court of Narnia, the International Criminal Court. They've convicted 10 people in 24 years. It's not a real court. It's a Zoom call with a bunch of, UN-aligned activists who don't understand what the definition of the word genocide is. So the fact that he thinks that he has that authority kind of is a prelude to how he would run if he were to ever be pinned into a corner. He would become authoritarian because he is an authoritarian.
I have a friend who says to me, Sid, I got bad news for you. I love you, but this whole Israel thing, it ain't working out for you. And Bibi, it ain't working out for you. I go, what do you mean? Well, the world is waking up. The country's waking up. And, you're not fooling us anymore. And, we figured out that Israel's genocidal and you guys are killing babies and all the nonsense that all these anti-Semites push every day. And I said, I disagree. I think that the majority of this country, and maybe I'm just naive, but I think the majority of this country are good people and smart people, and they know better. So, I disagree. I don't think that the United States and the world has given up on Israel and the Jews and Bibi. Who's right, Misfit?
Well, I like to say this, right? The internet is not real life, but it affects real life. I think a lot of people don't go past the first layer of their research where they just hear something, then they repeat it. I talk to people in the real world, right? I have a real job, and I go out and I interact with people, and I have seen a big contrast in how people message Israel online versus real life.
Thank you.
But I have had the random conversation, the rare every once in a while with like a friend who's like, yeah, well, Israel's going a little too hard, right? And what I usually do is I just shut them down with one thing. I go, harder than we did in World War II, and they usually just shrug and they go, you know what, you have a point, because you got to remember the first bomb didn't stop Japan, the second one did. Right. And that's what you were trying to sort of convey on Fox and Friends. You were saying when you're dealing with an ideological enemy, right? You're not dealing with some enemy that's being strategic or political. This is an ideological enemy. I mean, the Japanese were sending kamikaze divers into ships. They're not like, they don't care about their own life. Yes, unfortunately, the way to deal with that problem is to sort of just decimate them to the point where they have no other option than to surrender. But I agree with what you said earlier about how Trump wants to do it the diplomatic way. And I think one of Trump's greatest qualities is he actually doesn't want to go that route, like the Lindsey Graham route. But he thinks that he's going to be the first person to successfully negotiate with these radical Islamic terrorists, and he unfortunately won't. So I give him credit for trying, but eventually you kind of have to say, all right, I gave it my best shot and just send it.
Yeah, but when is eventually? I know every time
I think it's now.
Yeah, but I've been saying that for 2 months, and maybe I'm wrong, but I know oil prices went down again. Great, it's back to 80 plus a barrel instead of 100. Every time he stops, the oil prices go down, the gas prices go down, but that's only short-lived because we're not sending our troops home. I know Joe Kent tweeted me yesterday, Mr. President, don't listen to Sid, send our troops home. We're not going to do that, okay? We still have work to be done there. So we get the short-term fix, and oil goes back down and gas goes back down, and then guess what? We're going to be right back there doing something else, and it'll shoot right back up. This is becoming insanity, no?
Well, Joe Kent's the same guy who's been entertaining the conspiracy theorists about Charlie Kirk, who was killed with an exploding microphone. Or Joe Kent actually was talking about how he wanted to open up an investigation into what his job was as in the national security position or Department of Homeland Security position. He was looking into foreign terrorists, and Charlie Kirk was killed by a domestic terrorist. So he has absolutely no credibility as far as anything geopolitical. I understand he's a war hero. I respect his service, but he's a moron. That's the problem. He's actually just dumb. The problem, and I'm not even trying to be insulting. He really is a dumb person if you've listened to him talk. So I would rather get my geopolitical advice from my 5-year-old nephew. I don't need it.
Zach, on the way out, you are terrific, folks. Check him out 9 a.m. on Rumble. Tell me about the midterms. I ask everybody who comes on what they think, and, the real Trump sycophants. And I'm one of those, they say we'll be okay, except I don't say that. I'm very nervous. What are your thoughts on what's coming up in November?
I had this analyst on my show the other day. His name's Chase Bowes, and he predicted the 2024 election. He only missed 8 races, right? 8 races and 2, I believe it was 8 races, 2 Senate races, and he got every single state right. He's very, very smart, and he was telling me that the models that he's using, which are progressively getting leaning more towards Republicans, right now they're down to keeping the Senate, and we have about 219 to 216 Democrat on the House. And I think that's actually very positive. I think that people like Mamdani and Graham Plattner and, the guy who was like a 93 Trade Center co-conspirator or character witness, that these DSA candidates, they're going to create even if it's not a walk-away movement, I think they're going to create a big push to stay home in November for the left, which is why his models seemingly are changing more towards the House for keeping the House and the Senate. I'm optimistic, but I think that we need to play this like we're losing and treat this election like it's the most important, because it is. If we give left power back one more time, they're not giving it back. I don't think that I think that what they are messaging is we are becoming more radical. We are not moving back to the center. We are going to basically throw nothing but Hail Marys and hope that we can sort of bully people into getting on board with our policy. I know we don't have much time, but the Mamdani thing, like I said, he's talking about arresting political leaders. You have the DSA candidates talking about abolishing the Senate, opening the border, all this stuff, and that actually is turning people off. So their radical base, which is on both sides, the radical base is always the smallest portion. They're energized, but I think the moderate Democrats are not. I think they're going, I don't really feel this, and I hope I'm right. I think that they might stay home.
All right. Zach is great. Zach, the Misfit Patriot, once again, full-time host now on LFA TV. Check him out on the Daily Breakdown, 9 a.m. Eastern every morning on Rumble. Excellent job, Misfit Patriot, as always. Thank you for hopping on. I enjoy you immensely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Sid. Have a good one.
You too. God bless you, Zach. Zach right there, the Misfit Patriot. All he does is make a lot of sense. We'll take a break. When we get back, she's an amazing congresswoman representing both Staten Island and Brooklyn. She's been everywhere on television already this morning. Our dear friend Nicole Maliotakis. Nicole's next.
Listen. 77 WABC.
The 77 WABC Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili chime time 8:03. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
WABC Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank traffic desk, as you travel out onto the northbound side of the Jersey Turnpike, the outer roadway right around Interchange 12, there is an overturned tractor trailer there. The left lane is going to be out of service as you come on up to that one. You're also looking at still some pretty good delays coming inbound on the LIE Main Street right through Queens Boulevard. But the good news here is that accident that was outbound at 48th Street, that has now been cleared. If you're on the Grand Central Parkway, just a little slow through LaGuardia. Outbound, though, you're all jammed up coming into the Clearview. You're also looking at some heavy traffic on the inbound side of the Gowanus BQE, Hamilton Avenue now up through the Trench, and then on the southbound side from Queens Boulevard getting down to the Kosciuszko and then towards the Williamsburg. Now, if you're traveling on the Long Island Railroad, still some delays on the Hempstead Branch and the Transit Authority. There is no Z service right now, and also the J trains are not running Jamaica Center to 111th Street. That because of a pedestrian accident, and alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank, now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
Good morning, I'm John Terrett. Well, stocks ended on Friday mixed. The Dow was up 0.4%, the Nasdaq was down 0.6%, and the S&P 500 in the green with more of its stocks up on Friday than were down. The story of the day was really oil. Brent and WTI much lower than they had been earlier last week. Brent ended Friday around $96, $97 a barrel in New York after being over $100 the day before. Shares of Intel were down 7%, even though the chipmaker beat expectations with quarterly revenue growing by 25%, the fastest in 15 years. American Express down 5%. Expenses up, particularly marketing. Verizon, a record second quarter for the year. The company turnaround marches on. The stock was up 5% on Friday. Oracle signed a 10-year contract for software provision with the Pentagon worth $7 billion, but Oracle was down 4%. LeBron James is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers for a new 2-year contract said to be worth $8 million. And dozens of countries were hit on Friday with new tariffs by President Trump. The latest range from 10 to 12.5%. And so we come to the week ahead, and we're bracing ourselves for more tech earnings for the second quarter. And some of the biggest names: Microsoft, Meta Platforms, Apple, and Amazon. With business, I'm John Terrett.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
I don't care what they call themselves, but when you're taking pages out of the playbook of Karl Marx, pushing for abolishing private property rights and seizing the means of production, or Hugo Chavez in packing the Supreme Court, that's what you're going to get. So they can call themselves Democrat, socialist, but the reality is that the Communist Caucus, the Commie Caucus, is coming to Congress. And it's going to be a rude awakening if we don't all pay attention. And that includes the press. Think about what's happened in those countries where they've had socialism and communism. The press is the first one to go. When they finally consolidate that power, the media is the first one to go, and it is a state-run media. So it's incumbent upon all of us to get the truth out there about the threats that we are facing as a country with these radical people that want to bring this horrific ideology here.
Amen, baby. You tell them, Nicole. Again, let me reiterate, I was a little more nasty in my editorial on Mamdani on Saturday, but he's one of them. Let me reiterate that I am 1,000% in accordance with the 9/11 families who want to ban Mamdani from the ground 9/11 ceremony. That jihadist radical Islam has no right being on that sacred soil when we commemorate 25 years of the worst day in this country's history. I'm too young for Pearl Harbor. Maybe it was on the same level. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, the worst day in the history of this country, he's the last person that should be there. So if any of those families are listening now, I will sign the petition. That's easy. But if there's anything else you want me to do, I will, you know me, I am fearless. I will do whatever you want. Mamdani should not be anywhere near that ground on 9/11. I don't care that he's the mayor. It means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. A bunch of stupid white young girls who wanted free stuff and love hating on the Jews, that means nothing to me. He should be nowhere near that sacred soil. Anyway, here she is, the amazing congresswoman out of Staten Island and Brooklyn. You just heard her, Nicole Maliotakis. Nicole, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. Thanks for playing my clip.
You're welcome. It was great. Your clip is right on the money. My fear is that people keep saying that, and my guest just said it, Misfit, who I like a lot, but is that they're only small in numbers, these DSA candidates, that the moderate Democrats, they won't allow it to happen. In the meantime, I can't find all these moderate Democrats. I can't find them. What I'm seeing, like here in New York, are Democrats just caving, like Kathy Hochul, to people like Mamdani. They're caving all over the country. It is a very serious issue, so thank you for bringing it up.
You're right. And I mean, I've seen this happening over the last few years where what were the Main Street Democrats are moving more and more to the left to satisfy this radical base because they're afraid of them. They're afraid out of self-preservation. They're worried about their next election and being primaried instead of actually fighting to save their party. And so now what has happened is their party has been taken over by these socialists. And you know what? The mainstream Democrats, they don't really exist anymore because all they do is vote. They vote the same way. They vote the same way. They may say one thing, that they support this or support that makes sense, but when they go in Congress, they actually vote with the crew. They vote with the pack. So they voted to abolish, or I should say defund ICE and Customs and Border Protection. So they're voting for defunding our law enforcement. They wanted to keep an open border, right? They supported that as well. They would have voted, by the way, and they did vote. They did vote for a $5 trillion tax increase because they wanted all the benefits that we provided in terms of tax relief. They wanted that to expire, and they voted that way. And they do believe in redistributing people's wealth. And so at the end of the day, what is really the difference? And probably the only difference is their position on Israel. I mean, that may be the only difference between what was once the mainstream Democrats and this radical crew that's coming in. I think people, if they think AOC was bad, wait until this crop that comes in January, which is why we must preserve our Republican majority. That is the thin red line, is that thin Republican majority that is between us and a takeover of the United States Congress by these lunatics.
Don't forget, the DSA also wants to eliminate the U.S. Senate. They want to get rid of it, right? Just abolish it, which is crazy. But you mentioned the position on Israel. Wait, last I checked, 103 Democrats voted not to aid Israel. And I don't know, maybe 5 of them were DSAs. They were those moderate Democrats. So I'm not so sure. I know John Fetterman is one way, and I don't like Richie Torres because he badmouths Trump and Bibi all the time, but I know he's pro-Israel, but I'm not so sure that the Democrats, the, quote, moderate Democrats, are there for Israel. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, look, about 100 Democrats voted against funding Israel, and I think that was a very stark number. It just shows you, because this has always been overwhelmingly bipartisan, and the fact that they don't want to send aid to Israel anymore, I think, shows you exactly where they're going, and this is the reason, because they're afraid of the radical left. And another issue we should bring up, which I mentioned in that same speech that you played earlier, is packing the Supreme Court, okay? And this is important for everyone to understand, and share this fact with your friends, with your neighbors, with your coworkers. Okay, because who else packed the Supreme Court or packed their courts? It was Venezuela. Hugo Chavez Maduro packed their court from 20 to 32 justices, and then 40,000 cases ruled in their favor. No one ever had the ability to go to court for actual justice anymore. And that is how they destroyed the richest country in South America. And that is an important fact. They are taking a page right out of the playbook of Hugo Chavez when they push for packing the court. And so, that's one thing. And then what are some of the other things they want, right? They want to abolish private property rights. They want to seize the means of production. Those two things, by the way, are right out of the Karl Marx playbook of communism, okay? And these are not things I'm saying that they're saying that they want. I mean, Zohran Mamdani made those things part of his platform. He has said those words, that he supports abolishing private property and that he also supports seizing the means of production. And seizing the means of production, that's like almost like a buzzword with these socialists these days. Again, right out of the playbook of Karl Marx. And so
it is.
They're telling you who they are, and they're telling you what they want, and we need to take that threat seriously.
Did you take offense with anything I said about Mamdani on Fox News on Saturday? You can be honest. Frank Morano said, I don't agree with the terrorist comment. I don't care. That's fine. Did you?
Well, look, I told you what I said the other day. You're a troublemaker, but you this is the difference. You are a shock jock. I am a diplomat here, right? I say things in a, I think, nicer way, but we may have similar sentiments. Like, I think I wouldn't have used the word terrorist, to be honest. He may be terrorist sympathizer. That I would agree with. Certainly, some of the folks he hung out with are certainly and I would say he's very anti-American. I mean, that speech he gave on 4th of July was a disgrace, absolute disgrace to give that speech on the 250th birthday of our country and to highlight all the things you dislike about the country, all the things that you think are wrong about the country. I mean, really, that was, I thought, the biggest contrast between him and President Donald Trump, right? So, he's unfortunately stuck with him for a couple of years, but we have to, look, my job as the only Republican representing our city in Washington is to ensure that some of these crazy things that he has been advocating for don't actually happen, that we need to stop them. And I'm very vigilant about this, and we're pushing back. And so far, he hasn't been able to really implement anything that he's promised, which is a positive thing, because all his policies would just destroy the city. As far as I'm concerned, the city's running on autopilot right now, minus some of the things that he's done in terms of homeless shelters popping up all over the city and these crazy corrupt contracts, right? $4,000 a month per room for one of these homeless shelters. These big developers that the city enters into these shady contracts. I've called for the Department of Justice to investigate these things. We've already seen some indictments, by the way, in Brooklyn in connection to homeless shelters popping up. And you also even saw former mayor's deputy chief now indicted, or former chief indicted as it relates to these shelters. So there's a lot going on in that realm. And I think the DOJ, I'm glad that they're taking action. And I continue to push them to investigate the shelters that are popping up in my district. I sent them a long letter highlighting all these crazy contracts and how much they come out to be. Something's definitely wrong.
I know you're a diplomat. You aren't a congresswoman, so you got to be more careful than me. So you may not want to answer this question either, but you heard me when you were on hold, Nicole, going on and on about how, and I really feel this in my heart of hearts, he cannot be at that 9/11 memorial. He can't be there. He cannot be there. He sat on a podcast with his good buddy Hassan Piker when Piker said, quote, America deserved 9/11 and provided zero pushback. Zero. Not the first time. He's hung around clerics that have been co-conspirators in the first bombing in 1993, alleged co-conspirators. He's hung around people who are all about 9/11. He should not be there. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that's the case. Do you have an opinion on that?
You know what? I tend to agree with what you're saying there. He should listen to the families. He should listen to what the families want at the end of the day. I mean, if they don't want him there, he should really think about that twice. And yeah, when you hang out with people like Hassan Piker, which disgusting comments that have been made about 9/11, and some of these other characters, it really, I understand why the families don't want him there. It's just, I think it's offensive. And, that brings us to another issue is that guy in New Jersey, Adam Hamaway, who is, running for Congress. And again, this is a seat that is really overwhelmingly Democrat. So this lunatic won, and he's going to actually be a voting member of Congress. And he is somebody who was a character witness for the Blind Sheik in the 1993 bombing. Blind Sheik was convicted of conspiracy in that 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. This guy's character witness is going to be a card-holding voting member of Congress. Think about that. And these people are going to be on the Intelligence Committee, or these people are going to have access to classified briefings?
Horrible.
I mean, it's horrible. It is crazy. It is, again, this is why we need to keep the House, so these guys are not empowered.
Well, give me this, and Ron Kuby is happy about that. He actually took a shot at me, compared me to George Goebbels on Facebook this weekend. There's some more on Ron Kuby. I used to like the guy, but he's a loser too. And Curtis are both losers. But let me get to the last 60 seconds, which is, how do we make sure that, in fact, the Democrats don't take the House?
Well, look, at the end of the day, number one, people need to vote. The reason why some of these folks got in the primary and the one that took out Adriano Espaillat in the Bronx, that was 7% of the registered Democrats voted in that election. So people need to vote. They need to recognize that when we lost the House in 2018, the year that AOC and her socialist squad came in, there was very low voter turnout. So people may be happy that President Trump is there, and they may not be as excited to necessarily feel the need to vote in the midterm, but this is critical because if President Trump does not have a Congress that is Republican, we will be sitting there for 2 years just listening to bogus impeachment. So, and again, empowering these radicals that are going to be coming in the next group. It is important, number one, that you vote. Number two, find out who the most vulnerable candidates are. I've set up a PAC called No Nonsense PAC, and I'm supporting those vulnerable candidates who we need to protect around the country, and also candidates who have an opportunity to flip their seats. And people want to help NicoleForNY.com. They can go to that. And I've been helping candidates for my campaign, so I, make sure that I go back with a Republican majority. And I need to be elected myself. So if you're in Staten Island and Brooklyn, remember, you need to go out and vote. When we lost this seat last and Max Rose snuck in there, it was a midterm in Trump's first term. So think about that. The last time we were in this position, a midterm with Trump as president, this is when we lost the seat in Staten Island and Brooklyn, New York City's only Republican seat. So please make sure you go out and vote. And also, we have a little motivation this year because Kathy Hochul is at the top of the ticket. So I imagine people will be motivated to not only keep the House to support President Trump's agenda, but that they'll be motivated to vote, get out and vote Kathy Hochul out by voting for Bruce Blakeman. And so this is why people need to come out this year. It is a critical election for New York State and the country.
Nicole, I love you. You really are great. We're so lucky to have you in Congress, seriously. And you're great on this show, too. So keep fighting, Nicole Maliotakis. You're one of our best. You really are. Thank you so much.
Thanks, my friend. Take care.
God bless you. I love that girl, Nicole Maliotakis. And talking about Bruce Blakeman again, tomorrow I get a chance to speak to all the interns that Bruce Blakeman has employed this summer as he gets ready to beat Kathy Hochul. One of those interns, I know him pretty well. He's my son, Gabriel Rosenberg, who's a great kid. So tomorrow, Chris Boyle and Bruce Blakeman have decided to let me speak in front of the kids, and needless to say, that was a conversation all weekend at my house. So
why?
Well, my wife and my son actually said, Dad, don't be afraid to be boring. I said, I can't be boring. I can't do it.
That's a great phrase.
Don't be afraid to be boring, Dad. I can't do it. Can't do it.
No. Which dad are you talking
I
about?
know. So, well, they just want me to be calm. You know, these are kids, and
no, that's not going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know. But
take it easy.
Take it easy, right? Take it easy.
Just think of Bernard in your head.
Right.
All right, relax.
He would say that.
Easy.
He would say that.
Okay.
Like you said this morning, don't mistakenly read my Mamdani speech when I'm speaking at Bruce Blakeman's headquarters tomorrow. So that would turn the place upside down.
Are you pretending you're addressing the leaders of New York and get that?
You
confused.
scumbags! What?
Hold on.
Hold on a second here.
That's in my other pocket. Hang on.
Yeah, it's the wrong speech. Sorry.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
How about I just reread the speech I did at Madison Square Garden for Trump 5 days before he won?
That's great.
I think I said the F word 4 times.
Yeah.
New York Times, they love that speech. All right, we'll take a break.
Let's see how Bruce Blakeman, his face looks.
3 more great guests to come. I love this guy, former Congressman George Santos. In the 9 o'clock hour, we'll speak to John Catsimatidis. And the big one today, she happens to run the Civil Division of the Department of Justice. I want to see her right behind Todd Blanche as our number 2 at the DOJ, the great Harmeet Dillon. All that coming up.
Informative talk for New York. Streaming now on your smart speakers. Play 77 WABC.
Hey, ABC, myfirstpistol.com chime time, 8:29. Get your firearms license today at myfirstpistol.com. My First Pistol assists customers with firearms license application training process, but does not issue handgun licenses. You must have a valid firearm license issued by the NYPD to purchase, possess, or shoot a handgun or pistol in New York City. 74 sun and clouds on this Monday, July 27th. Good morning, I'm Noam Layden. Cops have cowered the gunman who fired off shots that killed a 12-year-old in the Bronx this weekend as he was riding his bike to a Mott Haven bodega. Jacob Freites was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Neighbors say he was a great kid.
You said he was helpful?
Very helpful.
What did he do?
Like, he will help, like, the older people. He will go and say, he will help people.
We used to go outside, play with the bikes. I's a very nice kid, a very good kid. He has very nice spirits. He always told me he wanted to be in the NBA.
Police arrested 45-year-old William Ferrer, who opened fire on a group of men he was fighting with. One of those bullets hit the 12-year-old. There is a community vigil set for tonight, 7 o'clock. For the Queen's soldier killed in that Iranian attack in Jordan earlier this month. Mourners will gather 96th Street in Ozone Park to honor Sergeant Angel Rampersad. The 28-year-old had emigrated from Trinidad as a child, attended Queen's public schools, Cooney, before enlisting at the age of 21. A private wake and funeral are set for this Friday. There were 3 arrested, 10 dirt bikes and ATVs impounded after a group of at least 200 bikers took over a number of Suffolk County Long Island streets this weekend doing stunts, recklessly driving through Hop Hog and Brentwood. Neighbors say they've had enough of these weekly street takeovers.
I think, it's getting out of hand.
I think there should be a park somewhere. If they want to drive dirt bikes or four-wheelers, they should be driving it there, not on the public streets.
Yeah, one of the bikers arrested was carrying a loaded handgun. It was just a week ago that police arrested 9 following an illegal racing and street takeover in Farmingdale. And some really frightening moments during a circus in Orange County this weekend when a crossbow demonstration went wrong in front of a large group of kids and their parents.
Well, last night, unfortunately, when she shot the crossbow, it caught him in his neck. The good news is she caught him right at the very corner of the neck. There was no blood.
Spectators were ushered out. Paramedics ushered in. The performer was airlifted to Westchester Medical, where the arrow was surgically removed from his neck. That performer says he hopes to be back with the circus soon. Sun and clouds this morning. Could see a pop-up thunderstorm this afternoon. Humid all day. High 83. 8:32
I think
now.
I just saw on New York 1 that it's going to be kind of cloudy and rainy till Friday.
There's rain in the forecast every day this week. Yeah.
There is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
That puts me in a bad mood, just so you know. Just warning you now. So.
Right.
I'm not going to be here on Friday anyway. I'm taking my daughter to school. But the one nice day I'm not going to be here. But I'll be in the place where LeBron James is going to start playing his home games. But the next 4 days, if it's going to be cloudy like that, I run the risk of being in a cloudy mood.
Well, you know what? I just want to make this announcement now. I'm going to be off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So just if anybody's listening.
Funny.
Yeah.
Show some guts. Come on, show some guts.
8:33. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. No doubt Justin will be off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as
Are you
well.
kidding? I'm going home right now. Sports sponsored by P. Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Start out in Queens. Tyrone Taylor had a 3-run homer. Marcus Semien added a 3-run drive. And the Mets beat the Dodgers 8-3, prevent a season sweep there. Starter Freddie Peralta, he allowed 3 runs, 2 earned in what could be his last start in a New York Mets uniform. Likely will be moved ahead of the trade deadline within the next 8 days. Up next for the Mets, rookie righty Zach Thornton will oppose Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field, 7:10 p.m. In Philadelphia, the Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game set, still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. And before the game, the Yankees did place All-Star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Up next for the Yankees, now 3 games back at Tampa for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game set in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will go up against Noah Schultz in what will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, you had your 2026 class of the Baseball Hall of Fame inducted into Cooperstown. Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent were among the inductees. Beltran going in as a New York Met. That is your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
8:34, traffic, transit. Now, here's Joe Nolan.
All right, Nolan from the Apple Bank Traffic Desk. Got a couple of problems now on the Jersey Turnpike. First of all, on the northbound side, the outer roadway, interchange 12, we still have that overturned tractor trailer, again, the left lane out. And then getting off at interchange 9, that accident continues to be there in the New Brunswick area. Now, if you're heading outbound at the Lincoln Tunnel, there was a disabled bus. Again, that's in the North Tube. The right lane going to be out as you head outbound this morning. So keep that in mind. Seaford Oyster Bay, northbound, just north of the Sunrise. There's an accident there. That's being cleared. A lot of slow traffic inbound on the expressway from the Van Wyck in through Queens Boulevard, but really not too bad other than that. Now, we do have some mass transit still. Again, New Jersey Transit trains, the 803 out of Montclair State, which was due in the city at 8:59. That has been canceled. Still some delays on the Hempstead branch of the Long Island Railroad, and also on the subways. We've been having problems all morning long on the J and the Z. Again, the J is suspended from Jamaica Center to 111th Street. Also, no Z service at all. And again, that because of a pedestrian accident, an alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank. With an Apple Bank Pick Your Term CD, get a guaranteed rate of return that fits your 6 to 12-month timeline. Stop by an Apple Bank branch to open. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
My guy checks in. Love this guy. Former New York Football Giant offensive lineman Luke Pettigrew, who's been a good friend of mine for years. He said, we need more cloudy moods, not fake like Mayor Kandami. I don't know what's going to happen, Noam. I don't think he's going to say a word about it today. And he's probably better off because what could he possibly say? Let's be honest. He's going to call me an Islamophobist again. I mean, he's going to sound ridiculous. This guy has spent months and months hating on just about every ethnic group in this city. He's he really is to blame in the stabbing of that Jewish man on the Upper West Side last week. The city is falling apart. I can name 10 things, maybe 20 wrong with the city, while all he does is talk about a prime minister of a country 7,000 miles away. How could he possibly address me? How? So I'm starting to think, I'm being serious, because all weekend long I thought, you know what? He's going to come out today with some stupidity. Now I think he won't do it. I know that people around him are mad. I've gotten that message, that the DSA psychos in and around him are furious, and they're going to call for my resignation, which is never going to happen, like CARE does every couple of weeks. CARE sends John Catsimatidis a letter to fire me, but I don't think he's going to say anything. I really don't.
Well, he's got two events, I think, on the calendar today. One is about his grocery stores, the free grocery stores he wants to set up in each borough.
The ones that he said would be $14 million apiece, but they're more like $30 million apiece.
Yeah.
So instead of $70 million, it's like $150 million.
Yeah, it just keeps going up.
Yeah.
So there could be Q&A after that. And then he has another event on crime and safety.
Oh.
So there could be Q&A and after that. Now, if I was a reporter and I saw that there was millions and millions of tweets about Sid Rosenberg, that you were trending as number three in the world or America.
On Saturday, that's right. It's actually said Sid Rosenberg, United States. That's huge.
Well, that I would then say, okay, I'm going to ask him a question about that, because then his reaction to it would trend just in the same way, and I'd score points with my news department.
Right.
So you would think somebody might ask him that.
Again, I think he's in a no-win situation. I think he's going to try to act as if he's better than that. Oh, that Rosenberg guy's mouthing off again. Who cares?
He's not, by the way, if he does respond, he will not mention our call letters or you by name. He'll just say that host.
That radio host.
That radio host.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll never say Rosenberg.
No,
right?
not in a million years. He's going to make sure he doesn't say your name, because he knows that's kind of what we want.
He did mention my name early on, especially in that Vulture magazine interview he did.
But that was before he was mayor, I think, right?
It was. He said the worst thing that's happened to me during my mayoral run is when radio host Sid Rosenberg called me an animal on Fox News. Boy, I think he misses those days, huh? He would take that over Saturday in a heartbeat, right? We're going to see. We got a couple of great guests coming up. John Catsimatidis, the boss man right here every Monday, does a terrific job. He'll be here. Then the big one, she runs the civil rights department of the DOJ. Very impressive lady. Spoke to her yesterday and this morning. I love her. Harmeet Dillon. John Catsimatidis and Harmeet Dillon, they're coming up.
Give me a warning, said I shouldn't treat you wrong. But when I woke up this morning, she was gone, gone, gone. She said, take me back, won't you? Take me back, won't you? I changed my ways. She said, take me back, won't you? Take me back, won't you? I'm not the same.
You talk. We listen. 77 WABC. WABC Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank traffic desk, we still have these ongoing problems on the New Jersey Turnpike on the northbound side, the outer roadway interchange 12. Overturned tractor trailer, the left lane is out, and then getting off at interchange 9, an accident there as well. So two separate problems in central Jersey, and then also you're looking at delays as you travel at the Lincoln Tunnel on the outbound side. Again, there's a disabled bus in one of the tubes, the north tube, heading outbound, so the right lane going to be out of service. Now, if you're traveling out in the city, we really don't have too much for you to worry about coming inbound on the Long Island Expressway. A little slow at the Cross Island, then heavy into Queens Boulevard. If you're heading onto the southbound side of the Van Wyck, though, just just south of 69th Road. There is an accident there. The right lane going to be out of service. Up in Westchester, we're really not in too bad a shape. We do have some delays, though, coming southbound on the Springbrook Parkway. A northbound disabled vehicle right around Dobbs Ferry Road. Everybody's slowing down to take a look at that. And mass transit-wise, again, still no J service. Jamaica Center to 111th Street, no Z service at all. That because of a pedestrian accident. An alternate side is in effect. Traffic sponsored by Apple Bank. Now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open new money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
.45 on your Monday morning. John Catsimatidis hosts not one but two great shows on his station, our station, Katz and Cosby, alongside Rita Cosby, 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon. And, of course, his masterpiece, The Katz Round Table, 8 a.m. every Sunday. Mr. Red Apple Media, our dear friend John Catsimatidis. John, I know that you've heard the rumors like I have. A lot of history already in 8 months between me and Mamdani, obviously. But you've heard the rumors that it doesn't stop at mayor. Maybe there's a even loftier position in his future. What are you hearing exactly?
Well, first of all, I am going into the Lincoln Tunnel, so I hope I don't lose you.
Okay,
so,
you might. Okay, it's okay.
It's only a minute. There's no traffic. The thing that you might get rid of Mamdani, he has made himself worldwide famous, worldwide, and he may want to move on to become to challenge Chuck Schumer. The same way the rumors are that AOC wants to run for president. And is leaning in some of the polls. Gavin Newsom, well, I think people are getting tired of him. And we don't know what's going to happen. On my local show on Sunday, Sid, I had 3 or 4 or 5 Democrats, Jerry Krieger, Hank Shankoff, David Patterson, a few others that they
Oh, you get the part of the time.
Themselves. The Democratic Party has to separate themselves from the Socialist Party.
Well, two of those guys, Shankoff and Patterson, who are on my show here quite a bit as well, they're barely Democrats at this point. It's funny. We still call John Fetterman a Democrat. I'm starting to feel like the people that are the old school Democrats that do have common sense, first of all, don't serve anymore. They don't. Patterson's been out of politics for a long time. But those folks sound more like Republicans, John, than Democrats.
Well, let's just say they're common sense. They're closer to the center than closer to the extreme left, the extreme right. I've always said the extreme left, the extreme right is not good for America. Somewhere in the center, whether you're center left, center right, or whatever, common sense has to prevail. And that's really what we need. I mean, what's going to happen in the oil business? So, I was on Fox 2 last week, and I said, look, oil went up from it hit a low of 67, where we originally thought it would be. And then it went up to 90, 95.
Almost 100, yeah.
Yeah, it went up like 25%, 30% in 2 weeks. But I also said it could go down 30, 40%. Versus some of the loony economists say, oh, inflation. And they're looking for excuses not to lower interest rates because America needs cheap gas prices and cheap interest rates. And even our own people sometimes are saying, oh, oil is $89. Oil is $83 this morning. We pay WTI, which is West Texas crude, and we're not paying Brent, which is, European, Asian food.
Right.
And so our own people have to realize that. Look, something is going on. I am not privy to it. I'm sure not too many people are privy to it. But President Trump has not bombed in 3 days. Now, what's going to happen with Iran, what's really going to happen is the common sense people that are in charge of Iran trying to make peace. They are trying to engage the regular Iranian army to fight the Iranian Guard.
The IRGC, right.
Yeah. And I'm on right now. But the Iranian people have to sort out their own problems, and they may be in the midst of it. I mean, not bombing for 3 days in a row, something is up.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that's what he's been doing the whole time. I mean,
wait. This is an opinion show. You got your opinions, I got my opinion.
I know,
but
this is what he's been doing the whole time. He starts, he stops. He starts, he stops. This is nothing new. This is nothing new.
He's the president. You're not.
Well, I understand that, but when you get people
you're another opinion maker.
I know, but when you get people like John Solomon on the show last week agreeing with me 100%, and KT McFarland, who spoke at your Hamptons breakfast on Saturday, agreeing with me 100% when they hadn't, you're starting to see people say, "Come on, President Trump, stop stopping."
KT was phenomenal at our breakfast on Saturday morning, and people. She was going to speak for 10 minutes. She ended up speaking for almost an hour.
Oh, good for her.
And she had her daughter there who moved to Florida and is a legislator in Florida, in Sarasota.
Yep.
And rumors are she could be a lieutenant governor when the new governor is elected.
Wow.
So,
oh yeah. No, you're right. No, you're right, John. She happens to be, I believe, very close with Byron Donalds, who's probably going to win that race.
Yes, Byron Donalds is in the lead. But Saturday afternoon, I went to the synagogue. I went to Shabbat of Southampton, and I spoke there. And
wait a second. Isn't that Rabbi Schneier?
No. Rabbi Schneier is in Southampton.
Ah, gotcha.
Different territory.
Gotcha.
You got to get your territory right. I introduced Dr. Michalos, who's not only a great doctor, he's a historian.
Yep.
And he spoke about many things between the Jewish community and the Christian community. And I also gave a shout out to my friend that passed away on Friday, Morty Sloan. Morty Sloan Supermarkets.
Yes.
And, he sold his company for $150 million, and then 6 months later it passes away.
Oh, God. That happens all the time. Yeah.
It's really very sad.
Sorry.
He's a good guy. And,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
what else do you want to talk about? I'm here.
No, I know. But you mentioned the supermarkets. We're sorry about Mr. Sloan, but you mentioned the supermarkets. And going back to where we started, Mamdani has two press conferences today, press conferences. And one of them, he plans on talking about the supermarkets. Are you going to watch all of that?
Well, if the TV set is on or if the radio is on, you guys play it, I will listen to it or watch it.
But you're not really. You're not really worried. You're not really worried about him with the supermarkets, are you, John?
No, it doesn't work. By the way, there was headlines this weekend. What happened with the headline? Some supermarkets that were was it Kansas City that closed down, or another city-owned supermarkets in some part of our country closed down. It doesn't work. But let things be what they be, and sometimes people have to learn the hard way. Well, Jesus Christ, what else?
One more. Hey, what is...
we had look, you know what we had? there's a lawsuit going on these stupid bicycle lanes.
Oh, yes.
Because the city wants a permission to be able to, any neighborhood to open up bicycle lanes without asking anybody.
That's ridiculous.
And the lawyer in that one was Hartley Bernstein.
Yes.
Smart guy.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. The other problem we have in the city is Randy Mastro is fighting for the small landlords because if they freeze the rents and their expenses keep going up, guess what? They're going to go broke.
Yep.
They're going to go broke. That doesn't work.
Yep. Nope.
And the other big item, in the 1920s, they created the Jones Act, and President Trump suspended it. And we had Rachel Gisler on. We're down to only 93 American ships. Sid, 93 American ships.
Way too low.
I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to get the product around. And President Trump has suspended the Jones Act, and it should be suspended permanently because it was made in the 1920s when we had thousands of ships.
Right, exactly.
To protect American ships.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up Randy Maestro. I miss him. He was so great for Adams. That's why Adams, at the end, did his best work. It was only a couple of months, but once Randy got there, he kind of straightened that ship out. He was even better with Rudy Giuliani. I love Randy. And I love you too, John. That was a great appearance, as always, again this morning. We'll all be listening at 5 o'clock with Rita this afternoon. John Catsimatidis, you're great. Thank you so much.
Take care, Sid.
God bless you. You too. That's the great John Catsimatidis. Really does a terrific job at this station. 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon. It's Katz and Cosby. And, of course, 8 a.m. every Sunday morning, the Katz Round Table. Take a short break. When we get back, big-time lady here, big time. I want her to be number 2 behind Todd Blanche in the DOJ. She's calling right now. She does run the civil division of the DOJ. She is Harmeet Dillon. And she's coming up next.
Somebody cares. You may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold won't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world still is the same. You'll never change it. As sure as the stars shine above, you're nobody till somebody loves.
Washington Square Park and
77 WABC.
Both are real New York. WABC Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank traffic desk on the Belt Parkway now on the westbound side, just as you start to leave Queens coming into Brooklyn, there is an accident there. The 2 left lanes are going to be out of service at that point. We're also going to be looking at some problems still as you travel out onto the southbound side of the Van Wyck between the Grand Central Parkway or between the LIE rather and the Grand Central right coming into the Kew Gardens interchange. So again, you've got that problem there. That will continue. Now, a lot going on in New Jersey. On the Jersey Turnpike northbound at 12, that overturned tractor trailer in the left lane. They are still in the process of getting that out of the way. And then also, as you get off at interchange 9, an accident on that off-ramp. If you're on the Garden State Parkway southbound, we're slow 135 down to 131 with an accident again. The right lane going to be out. This is a new one westbound on 78 getting out to Liberty Corner Road, which is exit 33. There is a crash there with injuries. The left lane going to be out of service. And mass transit-wise, still no J service. Jamaica Center to 111th Street with that pedestrian accident. And there is still no Z service. An alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank. With an Apple Bank Pick Your Term CD, get a guaranteed rate of return that fits your 6 to 12-month timeline. Stop by an Apple Bank branch to open. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Sid and Friends in the morning.
But you say he's just a friend. Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
Oi.
Everybody who knows me well knows that this lady is one of my favorites. I said on the air many times the last couple of days, even texted President Trump. I think she should be number 2 right there with Todd Blanche when he's confirmed by the Senate. That's how talented I think she is. She currently does run the Civil Rights Division, a big deal of the DOJ. But she is on the right side of everything. I mean that. So not only do I respect her, the job that she does, and Trump knows that, but I just think she's a great lady. And a New Yorker, too. My friend Harmeet Dillon. Harmeet, good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me again, Sid.
It's great to have you. You know, you fight for everything we care about here. You fight to eradicate anti-Semitism. And there's nobody you're afraid to go after. You fight to make sure our elections are real and all that fraud eventually goes away. You fight for our kids to be able to go to some of our finest institutions like Harvard without being harassed. Harmeet Dillon, you're an American hero.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I work with a team of about 200 fine lawyers at the Civil Rights Division, and we are charged with protecting the civil rights of all Americans. And it's been a tremendous honor to be able to fight for the American people in this role over the last year and a half. And, I couldn't thank the president more for giving me this opportunity. But there's so much work to be done, Sid. It's like an around-the-clock job. You get up and you find out some new discrimination has happened. Some politician has weaponized things against people. Some, governor, some secretary of state has allowed non-citizens onto the voting rolls. And, so it's basically a nonstop job fighting the incursions on our civil rights. And it's great to be able to do it. But we absolutely have to be vigilant constantly.
Dov Hikind joined me earlier today. I'm sure you know who Dov is. He spent almost 40 years. You know Dov, Assemblyman, of course, Borough Park. And he said, Sid, first he thanked me for my comments on Fox. You don't have to do that. But he did say him and the former governor, David Patterson, are calling on the Justice Department to investigate the climate of Jew hatred and incitement, that the mayor has created in New York. So, for example, when he comes out, and he knew all along, he's not stupid, he knew all along he could never arrest the Israeli prime minister. He knew that, okay? But he wanted to gin up all the support from his base and make people mad. So when he comes out afterwards and says that he expects people to hit the streets, basically asking New Yorkers to riot when Bibi gets there in September, that's a big issue. So if Hikind and Patterson send the DOJ a letter, my guess is you guys at the very least will look at it, yes?
Well, look, I don't need anyone to send me a letter to do my job. We're already looking at these issues. But let me just break this down. I think the rhetoric of the mayor has been inflammatory and dangerous. I think there already has been a climate in New York, which we've seen from the attacks on synagogues in the city, and which by the way, the Department of Justice is investigating and or prosecuting several hate crimes in New York, in the boroughs, and in Manhattan as well. Park East Synagogue is one that I personally visited and met with a rabbi there who's a Holocaust survivor and heard some heartbreaking stories about how these mobs will come and create fear. So the mayor has gotten elected, frankly, on a wave of Jew hatred, and I think he is absolutely winking at it and fanning the flames and giving his supporters permission to accelerate this type of rhetoric. And you see it from politicians on the left now. You really can't be a rising politician in one side of our political spectrum without enabling this type of a speech. So that said, we do have a robust First Amendment in our country, and the standard for holding somebody liable for an actual act of violence, you have to be, basically inciting it directly right there in a mob setting. That's the Supreme Court precedent. So I think the bigger problem with the Mamdanis of the world is that people are voting for inevitable results here, and I think they should make different choices. That's the solution to this, is more of a political solution than otherwise. And you do see some people on the left. You see John Fetterman calling it out. And then you see the hair splitting. We've literally seen some of the activists on the pro-Palestinian side here in our country break it down for their followers how to slyly attack Jews without looking like you're doing it by claiming you're just asking questions, you're just anti-Zionist, you're not anti-Jewish. That's not really the position that I think works out in reality. We're seeing that in our litigation against universities, is that people say, "Oh, we're not anti-Jewish, we're just anti-Zionist."
Right.
And
Nonsense.
but I mean, this is a distinction without a difference in most settings. And so, Sid, you not talked about it. This administration, this Department of Justice is absolutely vigilant and dedicated to this issue. There's no two ways about it. I immediately, opened an investigation into the stabbing that occurred a couple of days ago in New York. Both a Asian person and a Jewish man leaving a synagogue were violently attacked after, slogans were shouted that suggest it may have been hate inspired. And I will say kudos to New York for stepping up and already indicting that individual. He's gone in for psychiatric evaluation, I believe. But we're looking at that closely. And if the punishment doesn't fit the crime, the Department of Justice always has the ability to step in on these types of cases. And so it is sad. I started school, Sid, I think I'd mentioned this before, at Public School 108 in the Bronx, and had a lot of folks there, from a diverse set of backgrounds. And to see this happen to New York today, where I lived for many years, is absolutely heartbreaking.
It really is. This is the head of the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ, big-time lady, wonderful lady, Harmeet Dillon. Part of my appearance on Fox, I went after Mamdani, but I also talked about how I felt about the Iran war, and there's these psychos out there, and you don't have to say it, I will, Alex Jones and, Michael Flynn Jr. and, this guy Joe Kent. You know what aggravated me about them? Before they even talked about what I said about the war, and they're entitled to their opinion, they all described me as Israel first advocate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's anti-Semitic there, right?
Well, it's intended as a slur. I mean, I would, of course, it's intended as a slur, and you do see. Let's be very clear. You do see what we call the horseshoe right. Parts of the far right bending towards the far left, and using support for Israel, America's longtime closest ally in the Middle East, as a slur. It's not something to be ashamed of, to support your friends and your allies. Now, foreign policy is not my portfolio, so I will leave that to the experts. But, I think that it's alarming to see the rise of this type of rhetoric in our country, in podcasters, even in some politicians on the right, even some people who have gotten themselves jobs in the deep state. They usually get found out in this administration. But there really can be no sunshine between our government and our allies. And, it shouldn't be shameful to be supportive of our allies. And I think it's really unfortunate. But, you're able to stand up to those bullies pretty well. What's shocking to see is your Chuck Schumers of the world and others like that who, spent their life supporting the right side of this, and suddenly they're shut up by others. And so that's concerning. That's just my personal opinion, of course. I'm not speaking for the DOJ there. But as for the DOJ, every single instance of an attack on any house of worship will be prosecuted, investigated. We're going hard against these universities. I'm suing Harvard over their blatant years of anti-Semitism.
And is that still going on, Harvard, Harmeet?
Yes. I mean, so what happens is we have two lawsuits against Harvard. Harvard has a lawsuit against us for cutting off their funding at the beginning of the administration before I joined up, and then we have a lawsuit against them. They're refusing to give us their documents to prove their compliance with Students for Fair Admissions, the non-discrimination law from the Supreme Court, and then their anti-Semitism. And so, they're slow rolling these lawsuits, filing motions to dismiss, saying, oh, no, it is. Literally, our anti-Semitism lawsuit is based on Harvard's own review of its own anti-Semitism. And it's actually quite clear. But, the courts take their time. So, there's just a lot going on there that I can't even talk about. But It's the top focus of this administration to make sure that every single one of your tax dollars that goes to these institutions of higher learning, particularly these elite ones, is spent appropriately. And that means it can't be spent to undermine American priorities, to give preferences to foreign students at the expense of American students, to fund research that goes out the back door to foreign countries, to subject American citizen students to blatant religious bias. We will not tolerate that with a penny of our tax dollars in the United States.
Good. The mayor more than once has called me an Islamophobe. Even the speaker of the council, Julie Menin, twice has called me that. I don't even know what that means. I don't care. Because a phobia, I was taught, has to be an irrational fear, and there's nothing irrational about what I'm yelling about. But on a serious note, and the DOJ, I make the argument for some reason, but these politicians like Mamdani, they try to level the playing field. They try to make it seem like it's even, like there are just as many Muslim attacks as there are attacks on Jews, which is ridiculous. I mean, when I was a kid, black people were getting attacked in the streets, and I'm sure that's still going on, but it doesn't seem like to me any one of these other groups, any one, come close to the attacks on innocent Jewish people. Am I being naive?
No, I mean, look, let me be very clear. We will protect all houses of worship and all people of faith in this country. And there have been times when certain groups are more under attack than others. My own community, the Sikh community, has been the subject of violent attacks and killings at our temples. But right now, the attacks on churches and synagogues are empirically the most serious of the problems that we have on houses of worship in the United States. The attacks on Jews, and it's really very clear in our universities, for example. So we just have to be very empirical about it. Now, there may be other points in time when it's some other group, and the DOJ stands ready to step in and help all of these groups. It's the law, and we will continue to fully and faithfully enforce that law. And so, right now I'm going where the problems are. I'm going to call us firefighters. We're rushing towards the fire, and the fire is in the synagogues, and the fire is the stabbings and attacks on the streets of New York City on visibly Jewish individuals, and in Los Angeles, and wherever we find them. And so we are there to help. And, I just am proud to be able to do this job on behalf of the United States.
God, we're proud to have you. Last one, you said earlier in the conversation that part of the problem is these people are voted in like Mamdani, and you're right. There are too many young, blonde girls who live in Williamsburg or the Upper East Side whose parents have money, the morons, and they ran to vote for this guy. They were so enthusiastic, and that's why he won. I get very angry with people when they talk about rigged elections because I think this guy actually won. But for what it's worth, I had two very reputable guests in my studio last week, Carmeet, Marley Honig, and Dr. Naomi Wolf. Both are very bright and both presented me with a ton of information that Mamdani never won. Are you guys looking into that?
Well, I cannot comment on any ongoing investigations that we might be doing, but I will say that investigating election fraud and irregularities in voter registrations and so forth is part of my portfolio. And I've publicly stated in response to the New Jersey disclosure last week that thousands of people are on the voter rolls who shouldn't be. That's at a minimum, and hundreds of them voted. That we're investigating that for sure. And so anybody who has credible evidence of irregularities, voter fraud, particularly that affected any federal election, and of course, the many municipal elections like the one that you're describing also includes a federal component. We look into that. We have a growing team of lawyers. We work with the U.S. attorney's offices around the country, and I'm aware of many investigations. And so, the past, to be honest with you, people have been shamed away. Law enforcement officials have been shamed away from looking at these things because we would get criticized saying, there's no evidence of voter fraud, and some people would back down. And then they change the goalpost after the evidence comes out, and they say evidence of widespread voter fraud, and then some people would back down because of that. And now that we have widespread voter fraud, the goalposts have moved to two things. First, they say, well, it didn't affect the outcome of the election. I don't know how Governor Sherrill can say that because we don't know exactly what the effects were. And then finally, let's look at Trump. Let's change the subject and talk about Orange Man Band. So that's what they'd say when they've got nothing left.
Right.
And so we're not going to be intimidated or deterred away from any of that. And, just rest assured that it's a top priority for us.
I mean, what I say, we are so lucky to have you. You're such an impressive, amazing woman. Harmeet Dillon, Civil Rights Division, DOJ, needs to be right there with Blanche in charge of all of it in this country. Harmeet, I can't say enough nice things about you. Please keep fighting for us, and thank you so much for this appearance and what you do every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
God bless you. I love you. That's Harmeet Dillon right there. I really do love that lady. She's terrific. We'll take a break, and we got more to do. Nomi's got the news. You got the Worldwide News Network. And my old buddy, he was a congressman. Then he went to prison, which is fine. That's okay. A lot of these politicians should be in prison, quite frankly, including the mayor of this city. But he's still my buddy. I still like this guy a lot. He's going to hop on probably in about 15 minutes. You try to figure it out as the Monday edition of Sid and Friends in the Morning rolls on.
Gotta build it back up brick by brick. To say it's time alone is all I got. Singing my song in the parking lot. Every day I wake this way. Some of the days I just can't take. Get that money, get that break. You ain't gonna win if you ain't gonna play.
Download the 77 WABC mobile app now. Get the latest news and information. Listen to your favorite shows and podcasts anywhere you go. Available now on Google Play and in the App Store. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
BC chime time, 9:23, 76, partly cloudy on this Monday, July 27th. Good morning, Noam Layden. Cops say they've cuffed the gunman who shot and killed a 12-year-old riding his bike in the Bronx over the weekend. Police say 45-year-old William Ferrer opened fire on a group of men he was fighting with. One of those bullets killed Jacob Freitas, who was about to walk into a Mott Haven bodega to buy a ball.
They just riding their bikes, minding their business. It's really heartbreaking.
It's a tragedy. He was an innocent little kid. He's not from the street.
Ferrer is facing murder charges. Freitas' father, he's a retired NYPD sergeant who had worked in the Bronx. NYPD cops searching for two women who beat a man to death with a baseball bat during a road rage incident on the Belt Parkway in Queens early Sunday. Police say the vicious attack came after a fender bender. Neighbors near the deadly scene say they're not surprised.
If you look at Citizen app, you have a lot of incidents in the area every night.
All the time, doesn't matter, morning, evening, early morning, all the time. The traffic is like this.
A 47-year-old was killed. The wanted women, they took off in a Honda Civic, have not been seen since. Several 9/11 families starting a petition to have Mayor Mamdani banned from the ceremony this year. They accuse him of supporting groups critical of America. That's taking place as Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is accusing the mayor of fomenting hate with his threats to have the Israeli leader arrested when he comes here for the UN General Assembly come September.
He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other, and I don't think it's accidental that after he made this hate speech against Israel and against me, the next day, a Jew is stabbed coming out of a synagogue.
And there's a memorial in Central Park this afternoon to remember the teenage tourist who died in a horse carriage crash there last month. Family members going to gather at the Cherry Hill Fountain 40 days after the death of 18-year-old Romanch Mahajan. After the service, his family expected to renew their call for the passage of a bill that would phase out the city's horse and carriage industry. Sun and clouds this morning. Could see some pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon. Humid all day, high 83. 9:25 now. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noah. I'm late in sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan of Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers out in Queens. Tyrone Taylor put the Mets ahead with a 3-run homer in the 6th. Marcus Semien added a 3-run drive in the 7th. And the Mets beat the Dodgers 8-3 to prevent a season sweep. Starter Freddie Peralta allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, and 6 hits over 4 innings in what could end up being his final start for New York. He will more than likely be moved ahead of the trade deadline within the next 8 days as part of a significant sell-off by the last-place Mets. Up next for him, rookie righty Zach Thornton opposes Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field scheduled for 7:10. In Philadelphia, the Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game series, still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. Before the game, the Yankees placed all-star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Up next for him, now 3 games back at Tampa for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will get the start against Noah Schultz in what will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent accepted baseball's highest honor during the Hall of Fame's annual induction ceremony.
Not a great class.
No.
You know,
good. I mean, Beltran was cool.
Beltran was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Kent had some big years offensively, obviously, the Blue Jays, Mets, Giants.
And Andrew Jones was an unbelievable center fielder.
The Braves, yeah, he was.
But he wasn't even the best Jones on his team.
That would have been Chipper Jones.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, Wallace.
Well, listen, you know, the 1990 Braves, they were very good.
What is that now? The 90 Braves did nothing.
Well, that decade.
Oh, the 90s Braves.
Yeah, 90s Braves.
Yeah. How many World Series did they win in that decade?
2?
Yeah, that's wrong.
1? 3?
That's right. No, 1 is right. 95.
Well, listen.
96, they should have won their second straight, but then
that's
Darryl
true.
Strawberry and Jimmy Leyritz
You're
kind
right
of
about
screwed
that.
up, the Yanks.
You're right about that.
Mark Wohlers was terrible.
Yeah. And then the damn Padres that one year.
What about him? The Yankees killed him.
Yeah, but the Padres beat the Braves to get to the Yankees.
Remember that?
So, anyway, Giants and Jets local training
fun.
camp tomorrow. Yeah.
It is? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Full squads.
Full squads. Veterans, baby.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Are the Giants... Somebody told me last week, I think it was George V. upstairs, my man George, great FBI guy. The Giants were in West Virginia? They're not at Quest Technology yet?
No.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that, but I guess not.
Well, can you look into it?
Sure.
You're the sports guy, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but I don't care what they did for the last few days. I mean, training camp starts tomorrow.
Well, I want to know if they're going to be in West Virginia or New Jersey tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm a Giant fan.
Yes, you are.
Well, this is New York. We're not talking about the Eagles.
No, we shouldn't be doing training camp in West Virginia, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We should bring it back to the tri-state area at the very
Well, maybe they'll come later. I don't know.
All right.
Well, you can find that out. Maybe nice.
Okay.
And what are the Jets? Are they at training camp?
Yeah, tomorrow.
No, yeah.
At
Where
their practice,
is it?
At their practice facility, I would guess.
Are they in West Virginia?
Now, where would that be?
I don't think they're in
This
West
is great.
Virginia.
Where would they be?
I don't know where the Jets practice.
Let me give you a
Joe
couple.
Nolan knows.
I'll give you an A, B, or C.
Okay.
A, Brooklyn.
Don't go there. No.
B, Florham Park. C, Nashville, Tennessee.
It's in Florham Park, yeah.
You made that way too easy.
You didn't make it very difficult.
I'll take it.
If you were really trying to stump me. Now, if you want to know where the Philadelphia Eagles training complex is,
Nobody
I can tell
wants
you
to
that.
know.
Oh, okay.
We hate the Eagles.
Oh.
Ugh.
All right. Well, then, anyway, I'm done. That's your sports, sponsored by P. Morgan Peerless
Do
Boilers.
they have a jail in that facility, too?
Yes, they do, actually. I've been there. Yeah.
Now I'm kind of curious. Where do they have that training camp?
Well, you do need a ticket to get into training camp. You can't just
you can't just walk in.
Yeah, you can't just bum rush the building like I tried to do.
Right.
Work. San Quentin, I hear they're practicing.
The last time I went to either training camp has been a long time. The Jets, you ready for this? The coach was, we play to win the game.
Oh.
Herman Edwards.
Yeah.
With Joe Beningo.
Great Philadelphia Eagle, Herman Edwards.
Right. The one who picked up the Joe Passarch,
Yes, sir.
actually the Larry Zonka fumble.
Yes, sir.
Right.
But he didn't
And the Giants, the last time I was there, the head coach was Tom Coughlin.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli Manning was a rookie.
Right.
And then I got fired again.
Right. So.
I got fired a lot. People thought I was going to get fired today. You got these message board morons. These guys are great. How many times has this moron If anybody goes to Alan Snippen to get their dental work done, you got to be some moron. So I still look at it because it makes me laugh.
Right.
How many times have they said I'm getting fired? Remember they said I was getting fired after the speech for Trump at Madison Square Garden, and Trump would never talk to me again. And Katsimatidis hates me, and every day I make Katsimatidis look worse. Mind you, I get the best ratings in the city, the most revenue at the station.
The best.
John and I are great buddies. It was just on about an hour ago. They know nothing. So now they're claiming on the board I'm getting fired for this. I mean, it's been 11 years.
Right.
You've said time and time again, I'm getting fired. I can't get ratings. Don't you at some point just stop? Or
No.
And the one guy goes, it's just a matter of time. Really, you moron. I mean,
everything's just a matter of time.
You're going to be dead too, sir. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, sure. He's
But
right
these
about
guys
that.
they go on this board like they know somebody. I mean, they get it wrong every single. And then when they put on there about the ratings, they go, well, my ratings are higher than I'm. Yeah, but they're different ratings. It's different. How's it different? A number's a number.
Yeah.
Lou, is a number a number?
Number's a number.
Yeah, how's it different?
Right.
These are crazy people. The actual post started with, try keeping your job at ABC, Sid, or something like that. Right, they're going to fire me here because I called the mayor a terrorist. You can't make it up, right? No? And they actually think they know something. There's like 10 guys. They're the same 10 guys. Yeah. They're all losers. They've been fired or never made it. I never heard of them. None of them.
Arguing where the transmitter should be located.
Yeah, exactly. Losers. You know who else is a loser is Mike Erickson. I used to like that guy.
Who's that?
Who?
WFAN. I used to like him. I mean, I liked him even a week ago.
Uncle Louis Gregory?
No, Mike Erickson.
Oh, sorry.
You're going to know who he is
A
now.
board up from FAN. I never said one bad thing about Mike. And he's out there saying crap about me, too. Said Sid was a nicer guy when he was getting drunk and missing shows. You don't say that, you dickhead.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
That's a low blow
yeah,
right
that's
there.
disgusting.
That's below the belt.
Because you don't like what I'm saying on the air? Don't listen, jerk off.
Right.
I've always been nice to you, Mike, you idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Right, Lou?
Well,
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Right?
Jeez.
God.
Well,
Anyway, I was done a while ago.
yeah.
Dr. Sniffin, the upper molars, not the bottom.
Right.
Sorry.
Are those dentures ready yet?
Yeah, that's it. No, that's next patient.
No, take it away now.
All right. 9:32, traffic, transit. Here's Joe Nolan.
Well, from the
Joe,
Apple-
you know all these guys, don't you?
Who? The board guys?
Yeah,
The
all
on
those
the-
guys.
Oh, yeah, all those guys.
What's the matter with them? I never said anything bad about those guys.
I don't know.
I mean, I know they've got Trump derangement syndrome. I know those guys for 20-something years.
Yeah,
you don't bring up my personal life. I've got kids.
That's terrible.
Right?
That's terrible. That really is terrible. You want to go to Jets camp with me on the 8th, 11th, or 25th?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to Fallujah that day.
Oh, my God.
He was trying to pick the city that was back.
Actually, a really nice invitation from
That
Joe.
was
Not
nice.
to-
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying, I'm going on the 8th and the 11th and the 25th. So
Wait, what's the date again?
8th, which is a Saturday,
Right, I can't do that.
and the
Shabbos.
11th and the 25th are Tuesdays.
You know what? I might. That sounds like fun, actually, all kidding aside. I love you know what? I'm going to pick one of those days and go with. Are you being
Cool.
serious? You're kidding?
Yeah, I'm being serious. Yeah, I'm going to get my gas to New Jersey, and we're going to go.
Yeah, now I can't make it. No, let me get back to you. You taking your grandson? And...
Yeah, my and one of them. He's going to go. Yeah, and we're going to hang out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
They do a good job out there in Florham Park.
No, I know they do.
Yeah.
I think I want to go. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll get back to you, but I think I want to go. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, I'll let you know.
All right.
Let me know. All right. Well, here we go. Apple Bank traffic desk again, 78 westbound, earlier accident, exit 33. That's been cleared. Turnpike northbound, interchange 12 on the outer roadway, an overturned tractor-trailer, the left lane will be out of service. And then on the westbound side of 287 up in Westchester at exit 3, an accident there. Subway delays, a lot of them. The 6, the 7, the A, the B, the D, the M, the R, and alternate side is going to be in effect. Traffic sponsored by Apple Bank. Now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
You're my best friend.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
For my friends.
77 WABC.
shake it down. Truth or consequence, say it aloud. Use that evidence, race it around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary.
Live version, My Hero. That was at Wembley Stadium, I believe, when Travis was still alive, that great drummer. Oh, I just forgot the name of Dave Grohl's band. I'm sorry.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters, yeah. I've been called a hero like a billion times the last 2 days. I'm not uncomfortable with that, just so you know. People go, don't call me that. I go, no, that's okay. I am a hero, man. I got balls. I got balls, right? No, I am a hero.
I haven't seen them, but I'll take your word for it.
But you've seen those Jewish leaders. Boy, they got no balls, man. They're nice people. They're nice, great. Or these rallies that we put on with 200 people when they bring out 6,000. You know? So I took it upon myself to talk to 2 million people on Saturday and tell everybody what this mayor really is. One of my people, as Curtis calls them, rats at City Hall. I don't know if it's a rat or not. I don't know. But somebody is saying that you're going to say something today. I don't see it. I can't. You know, I've been thinking about it for the last 2 days. There's been no local coverage of what I did on Saturday. None. Even though I trended number 3 on Twitter, Sid Rosenberg, United States. Millions and millions and millions. I'm not exaggerating. Social media posts on Saturday and Sunday. Nothing locally. Nothing. Not a word. Not a word. And I'm wondering if the mayor is going to address it. It'd be in his best interest not to, of course. But this person keeps telling me that he is. I don't know. And they've even reached out to other politicians. Because remember the last time? Remember what happened? Before the mayor even said a word? I got all those tweets. Letitia James, Kathy Hochul, Bill de Blasio, Chuck Schumer, Richie Torres, Julie Menin, Tish, all of them. So maybe they're doing that again, or maybe they'll do nothing. I don't know. But I got to take a break, because when I get back, this guy I really enjoy. I'm not going to lie. Spoke to him on my Sun Deck yesterday on a Sunday morning. Former Congressman, very smart, very entertaining, George Santos is back on Sid and Friends in the Morning. He's next.
We listen. 77 WABC. WABC Traffic and Transit.
Well, from the Apple Bank Traffic Desk, if you're traveling northbound Jersey Turnpike, we still have the cleanup from that overturned tractor trailer that was on the outer roadway right around the area of Interchange 12. But it must have most of it off on the shoulder because there's hardly any delay at all getting past it. So northbound on the Jersey Turnpike, though, continue to look for that issue. Now, we also still are going to be looking at a lot of heavy traffic coming inbound on the Long Island Expressway as you start to come through the area of the Queens Boulevard. Also, Throgsneck, Whitestone Bridges, both directions. Actually, quite a bit of heavy traffic up there this morning. Bell Parkway now, real slow, where before it wasn't too bad. Now from Kennedy Airport, pretty much all the way down to Flatbush Avenue, you have a lot of slow traffic this morning. 287 westbound, exit 3, an accident there. That's being cleared. That up in Westchester. And the Transit Authority, still delays on the 6 and the 7 trains, also on the A, the B, the D, the M, the R. And at Newark Airport, Jersey Transit, the AirTran service being replaced by shuttle buses leaving New Jersey Transit's train station. That'll be every weekday from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. until August 28th, and alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank. With an Apple Bank Pick Your Term CD, get a guaranteed rate of return that fits your 6 to 12-month timeline. Stop by an Apple Bank branch to open. Member FDIC. $25,000 minimum deposit required to open. New money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
This is the WABC opening bell report. Malls making a big comeback. Nationwide indoor mall traffic grew 4.5% from this time last year. Gen Z shoppers, those 18 to 24, bought 60% of their merchandise in stores over the last year. They also boast the longest dwell time in those malls, averaging 2.6 hours per visit. Let's see how the markets are doing on this Monday morning. Wow, Dow up 611 points. Noam Laden, WABC opening bell report, 77 WABC.
77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Trying to talk to Mayor Mamdani is like trying to talk to the IRGC, okay? This guy is a terrorist. That's the bottom line. I'll say it. You don't want to say it. I'll say it. He's a terrorist. He's a jihadist. He hates the Jewish people. He hates America. He hates the Italian people. He hates the Irish people. He hates the German people. Unless you're Muslim, Mayor Mamdani has no use for you. He is a horrible person and maybe has perpetrated the worst American and Jewish hate in the history of this country. Those two people stabbed the other day in the Upper Side of New York City, that blood is on his hands. That blood is on your hands, Mayor Mamdani. We got to find a way to get this guy out of here. Maybe Dr. Naomi Wolf is right. Maybe that election wasn't what it looked like on paper. Maybe he really didn't win. But either way, this guy is the worst thing to happen to New York politics, maybe in the history of our state. He's a lowlife.
I mean, I think you may be a bit over your skis in labeling him a terrorist, and you're probably going to get flagged for that.
Why? Let me ask you this.
Because New Yorkers elected this guy.
Who cares?
They knew everything about him before. Like, this is predictable. You talked about predictability. This is a predictable...
Griff, let me ask you this. The Hamas guys that are in Qatar right now, they've never put on an explosive vest. They've never shot anybody. Would you consider those guys terrorists? Because I would. Okay, so his ideologies are in line with the terrorists. Mahmoud Khalil is a campus terrorist. You don't have to kill somebody to be a terrorist. You have to share the ideology. That's what this guy is. He's no better than the person who actually goes and shoots somebody because he respects that person. He likes that person. That makes him one of them.
No, you're unbelievable. You play Melissa Etheridge because she's gay and George Santos is coming on. That's... Did you even realize that? It's a great song. So it turns out Mamdani is not just a terrorist, he's a pussy, too, because he ain't going to say nothing about me today. He likes to act as if people like me and Vicky Palladino, we don't exist. Oh, we exist. I think I want to run for mayor again. I can't believe the amount of support I've gotten the last 3 days. It's like overwhelming. It's like 95%. I've never had that. I've had a million controversies, a million. I'm always on the right side. Well, not always, but. And usually it's 50-50. This is 95-5. Thank God for you, Sid. You're a hero. So I'm thinking about it again. Abraham Hammer is one of my favorite people. He's listening right now, and he's tried to deal with the mayor and that anti-Semitism group of his, I guess. I don't know, some sham group that doesn't really exist. And that's another bogus. But I had a nice conversation yesterday morning on my Sun deck with the aforementioned former congressman, my friend George Santos. And I love having him on the show, so here he is. Georgie, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, Sid, how are you? I got to tell you, it's always great being back with you and then the audience at WABC. But I have to say, I don't wake up early on weekends to watch TV, but I woke up early to watch your segment with Fox and Friends because something told me, something deep down inside when I saw it on X that you were going to be there. I said, I'm not going to want to miss this live. And boy, was I right. I mean, Look, I've fair share of controversy, fair share of TV heat in my life. I think goes without saying. But when you start poking and saying things like you said, and the people who are criticizing you are Alex Jones, Kyle Seraphin, and like, you're kind of on the right side of history, my friend.
I swear to God, that's what I said, because, and this is not the Mamdani part, because don't forget there were two parts that exploded in my one appearance on Saturday. The Iran conversation, which is what George is talking about right now, and Mamdani. So it turns out that, yes, Alex Jones did a whole show on me yesterday. General Michael Flynn Jr., Joe Kent, Glenn Greenwald, Kyle Seraphin. These are the biggest traitors and losers and anti-Semites. How do I know that? They describe me, George, as Israel first. What do you mean, Israel first? Israel first advocate, Sid Rosenberg. I'm America first, but you bet your sweet ass I'm Israel second. We've always been that way. That's the way it should be, no?
I don't disagree. Look, my record speaks for itself, and I'll say this. The interests of America are well represented right now in what's taking place in Iran. This is a country who has literally chanted death to America for decades. Since the 70s, their entire existence is based on death to America. So to say that taking them to task and decimating their leadership is not America first is just plain simply misguided, uninformed, and people who say that lack a decent amount of sense of foreign policy. And that's it. International relations is not for everybody. Hence, it's an entire course in college for people to grasp it around their head. The facts of the matter are, look, we're fighting a war that we don't want to. I agree. Nobody wants to, but we have to. It's an evil necessity. I hate war. I have a record of being anti-war in almost every vote that I took in Congress. But this is one that I think is unfortunately much needed, and it's about due time that we take on the devil in Tehran once and for all, so that Iranians can be free. The Iranian people want to be free. And also, I guess Americans want to be able to transit globally in the Strait in the Middle East without the fear of the Iranian and its proxy terrorist organizations. When it comes to Mamdani, you're damn right he's a terrorist. And to be a terrorist, you don't need to be a murderer. You just have to share in the ideology, and I concur with that with you 100%. A terrorist and a murderer are mutually exclusive things, and I think he is a terrorist. He shares terroristic ideologies. And I think that the governor of New York, whether it's Kathy Hochul or Bruce Blakeman, should both pledge to remove him, because the Constitution of the state of New York allows the governor to remove a rogue elected official in any part of the state. And Mamdani has become beyond rogue. He's hostile to New York City. He's hostile to the financial economic engine that New York represents for America, because when a third of American wealth and a third of the American GDP run through Manhattan Island, and you have somebody like him there, it becomes a national security issue.
That's why George Santos belongs back in politics, folks, okay? He apologized, he made a mistake, and he belongs back because he's so smart. And, he's done all that, Mamdani. He's done all of it. You've been around a lot of politicians, George, and again, you did serve time in Congress. Is it hyperbole? Is it too much to say that this guy is the most dangerous politician you've ever seen? Because I can tell you this, if God is good to me, I'll be 60 in April, and he's probably the most dangerous politician I've ever seen.
So in my lifetime, obviously, I'm 38, and I've never seen somebody so reckless and so callous towards the American people, and quite, adversarial to the United States Constitution. He literally has made statements that are contrary and in contradiction to everything we stand for as a country. But this is something I'm going to say, not very popular, but we have to stop allowing people who come from god-awful corners of the world. This man comes from Uganda, a country that literally not just kills people they don't believe in, but they literally murder their LGBT community. They literally completely demoralize their women. Their women are literally castrated in their country. This is a man who comes from a country with a deeply troubled ideology, a country I actually took aim at in Congress by writing bills to defund our foreign aid to them, that at the time I was there, I think we were sending $17 million to them for all sorts of nonsense that was probably going into the corrupt politicians' pockets because it's a corrupt nation. So you have to look at it this way. Mamdani is not only just a threat to New York City, he's a threat to America. He literally unseated two regular, and that's a stretch to call Dan Goldman regular, but regular Democrats, and placed Marxists. And he's proud of it. Yep. And Hakeem Jeffries is thinking that he's going to control these two members. He thinks he's going to have a chance. They literally chanted, "You're next." He's next. He has 2 years. Hakeem Jeffries has an expiration date in Congress, and that is 2 more years. So I think Mamdani is a threat. I think we need to address that threat accordingly. And I think Kathy Hochul, whether she win, or Bruce Blake, whether he win, God bless, I think, God willing, both of these people should have the testicular fortitude and the political strength to remove this dangerous man from City Hall and Gracie Mansion.
Well, Bruce would do it. He's hesitant. I've asked him that question more than once on this show. I'm going to see Bruce tomorrow. I'm speaking to his summer interns. My son is one of those tomorrow. I talked to Bruce. I'm not exaggerating, George Santos, 3-4 times a day. And he has said that, he would look into it. He's hesitant to remove somebody who won an election. But Kathy's never going to do it. Kathy's a Democrat, and all these Democrats who like to throw around moderate Democrats, they don't exist. There's one. His name is John Fetterman. He's not even a Democrat at this point. He's a Republican. They're all scared to death of Mamdani and all these DSA candidates. Nobody more afraid than Kathy Hochul. So this wicked witch, this wench, this repulsive hag, she ain't going to do nothing. She ain't going to do dick. She's going to vote with Mamdani.
It will be her demise. It will be her political demise.
I hope so.
She might win this race. She'll live to lose another. And that's it. Because I speak to regular, everyday Americans, New Yorkers, Pennsylvanians, you name it. Friends of mine who are Democrats, actually blue dog Democrats, are voting Republican because they're terrified of what is happening in the Democrat Party today with the DSA infiltration and this uprising of quite flat out Marxism. This is not socialism like, this is not democratic. So this is flat out Marxism, and they want to take over and fundamentally change everything that America is about. And I won't stand for it. I don't think most Americans will stand for it, because if you think America isn't great, then why the hell did you leave your hellhole of a country and come here? That's always my question. Why did you come here if it's such a bad place?
That's such a great question. Georgie, I love you. I'm glad you called in this morning. I got to get you on more often now that we talked. I got to keep getting you on because I think you're terrific. I really do. So
I love you, my friend.
I love you, too. You're great, George Santos. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Have a blessed one.
You, too. I do love that guy. George Santos, former congressman right there. We'll take a short break. We'll come back. It's been a great Monday show. We'll wrap it up right after these short messages.
Explain. I've been here before, and I'm locking the door, and I'm not going back again. Her eyes and arms and skin won't make it go away. You wake up tomorrow and wrestle the sorrow that holds you down today. Go on and hold her till the screaming is gone. Go on, believe her when she tells you nothing's wrong.
Listen to your favorite shows live and on demand. Enable the 77 WABC Alexa skill today. Tell Alexa,
play 77 WABC Radio.
WABC Traffic and Transit.
From
from the Apple Bank traffic desk, if you're traveling northbound on the Jersey Turnpike, interchange 12, the outer roadway still to clean up from that overturned tractor trailer. That will continue. We got a new one inbound George Washington Bridge now. On the lower level, there is a stalled vehicle. The left lane going to be out as you start to come over to the Jersey side, so that's going to be a problem for us this morning. Also on 287, we still have that accident westbound over by exit 3. They are still working on that. And then also a disabled vehicle on the Springbrook Parkway northbound getting up to Hospital Road in Mount Pleasant. Now, New Jersey Transit trains, again, don't forget, no Princeton shuttle all week long during the middle of the day, and alternate, that's for track work, and alternate side is in effect. Traffic is sponsored by Apple Bank, now at the highest annual percentage yield this year on any 6 to 12-month CD. Visit your local Apple Bank today. Member FDIC, $25,000 minimum deposit required to open new money only. Early withdrawal penalty may apply. I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?